Like I was telling you earlier, champ, I hate Boston. I hate Boston.
Man, I'm a Laker fan. You got to understand, I'm a Laker fan, bro. So if
I
you
thought
hate
you a Hawks
Boston,
fan.
nah, man, we don't cheer for the Hawks down here.
Champ. Don't do that.
Crazy.
No, I mean, after
That's
Dominique Wilkins,
sacrilegious.
no, after
You a
Dominique Wilkins,
Bulldogs
bro,
fan? You a Falcons fan? Okay, okay, fine.
after they got rid of Dominique, that pretty much turned because we could have won a championship that year. You know, that was my problem with the Atlanta Hawks.
See, my problem with a lot of the fans down here in Georgia, and Champ knows this too well. A lot of the fans down here in Georgia, a lot of them make no sense, and they make me want to just strangle them. But that's like I said, that's another topic.
No. Trust me, there are no worse fans than Dallas Cowboy fans.
Oh man, I don't know, man.
Well,
living in New England, bro, Patriots fans are. Oh my god,
bro! I live in Jersey, and Patriots fans are annoying, but Cowboy fans they're just delusional. Everywhere they go, they act like every year is their year, and
we're
like,
gonna win it next year, right?
Right.
No, I'm from CT, dog. So Patriots fans. So we know Tom Brady didn't even leave that long ago. It's been like what 5 years, something like that. And yes. Patriots fans are like, oh my god, like the glory days. Remember when Tom Brady was saying like, y'all recently still won a Super Bowl in the past decade. What are y'all talking about?
That ain't even good. Hey, so we are here on the inaugural episode of the Undisputed GOAT podcast, reporting live from the city of Columbus, Georgia. The great city of Columbus, Georgia. Shout out to Columbus, Georgia, the 706. Y'all know what it is. The champ is here finally on YouTube. Hey, we got a star-studded cast for you today. We have a hell of a lot of topics to discuss. But first, let me introduce some of the best content creators known to man on this earth, starting with my guy BRF Sports. Man, how you doing?
Bruh, I am doing wonderful. BRF Sports, bringing that real flair to the sports talk game. Shout out to Madison. I rep 706 area code as well. I'm loving the opportunity. Always enjoy doing the TikTok lives with you every Sunday. So to actually get watching you branch it off, I got to say, I'm proud of you, homie.
I appreciate that, man. Hey, and we got my main man, the man who knows cartoons like no other, Luis Knows Tunes. Man, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing good. You guys motivated me to branch out and turn my wrestling page into just an overall sports page because I've been up here a lot with y'all, champ. It's an honor. You've been a great friend, great mentor to me since I met you. So it's been an honor that you allowed me to come up here for your first show. So extremely happy for you. I'm excited for this journey, and I hope you blow up and I hope you make a ton of money, man. I'm extremely blessed.
I appreciate it. And last but not least, my main man, fresh out of the Jersey, PSP, man. Talk to the people, man.
How you doing, champ? Thank you for having me on your very first podcast. Please go like and subscribe to Champ, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever social media platform he's on. As Luis said, he's definitely going to make a ton of money. No doubt about it. All of us doing great things with the content creation. Can't wait, man. Let's get to it.
Hey, man. Hey, and let's not forget, man. Hey, PSP Sports Podcast every Friday at 9 o'clock. Hey, you got to give a shout to the great PSP, man. Hell of a show every single Friday. So go ahead and feel free to check that out. Like, subscribe to all of his content as well. Hey, man, we got a hell of a show coming up for y'all today.
Let's do it.
First stage first, man, look here. The NFL has been on fire as of lately. NFL has been on fire as of lately. Hey, we got some more guests coming in.
Last word.
Last word.
What's going on, y'all? What's going on, man? Thank you for having me on your first show, champ. I'm glad.
No problem, bro. Hey, talk to the people. Tell the people where to find you at, bro.
Oh, yeah. Y'all can follow me, Last Word Productions, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Same name everywhere. _ Last Word Productions on YouTube.
All right. And last but not least, my name, man, Ben, Brandon for the block. What's going on, baby?
Yo, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, yeah, we hear you.
What's up, y'all?
You ain't gonna plug your thing, Brandon?
You ain't got no thank people for us before the show starts, brother?
Hold on, I can't hear y'all. Hold on, I'm gonna leave and come back. I can't hear y'all.
Okay, then. We'll
He's
wait
probably
on.
watching Roman Reigns. He's probably watching Roman Reigns.
And we know, Brandon is a great Roman Reigns fan, bro. You got to know that, hey man, he's a great Roman Reigns fan. So, hey man, we got a hell of a show coming up for y'all today. Waiting on Brandon for the block to get back. But first things first, the NFL, we all know, is the king of sports on the American soul. So we got to first go through the divisional round that just happened this weekend. As we all know, the Buffalo Bills bit the dust this weekend. Hey, the San Francisco 49ers, they overcame the Green Bay Packers. The Detroit Lions overcame the Tampa Bay Bucks. Not to mention, hey, Baltimore proved they could win in the playoffs with Lamar Jackson. Hey, we're going to start with you. Last word. How do you feel about the divisional round that just happened, brother?
I mean, as a whole, I honestly found these divisional games entertaining outside of the second half of the Ravens and Texas game. Mm-hmm. So I ain't really had too many complaints in terms of entertainment asset and value. But in terms of predictions, I'm not gonna lie, man. The only thing that took me by surprise so far was the Packers and the Cowboys game in terms of the playoffs as a totality. But the divisional rounds, period, I think one thing we can agree on is that basically the 49ers isn't this juggernaut that a lot of people thought they were. At least I don't think they are.
Mm-hmm. All right, Frank, what you think, brother?
Well, I know when we did the prediction show for the division round, the games pretty much went as I predicted. Now I will say this: I didn't think the Ravens Texas game was going to turn into a big of a blowout as it did, because I thought with Texans with the offense, I thought they would have at least been able to like kind of change the pace a little bit on Baltimore's defense. But at the end of the day, Baltimore's who I thought they were, honestly, at the end of the day. And I think the watching Jared Goff play, he has since he went to Detroit, he has surprised the heck out of me with how efficient he can be, the way he's running that offense, the way he's getting everybody involved. I mean, Detroit is San Francisco, but they better not take Detroit lightly going into this NFC Championship game, because I feel like the weak link of San Fran is that secondary. So I think Detroit can get them. As far as that Kansas City game, I tell people this, and I'm gonna keep telling them this until somebody can prove to me they can beat Patrick Mahomes in a big time scenario. It's hard to go against them. Everybody was ready for the Chiefs for the Bills to finally dethrone those boys, and Patrick Mahomes said, "Y'all forget who I am," and he went in there and he did his thing and he handled his business. So overall, it was a very, very entertaining. This is what I love about the NFL. They know how to entertain you. They know how to entertain you come playoff time. So even with the Ravens game, just watching them operate and watching them click on all cylinders was an entertaining sight too. So for me, then the divisional playoffs were just entertaining all the way around.
All right. And we just got a new person on the panel, Brandon from the block, tuning into his show every Monday and Wednesday. Monday football, Wednesday basketball. How you doing, Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon. Doing good, bro. Doing good. Grinding, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like simple as that. But yeah, y'all go follow me on Instagram, bband923, TikTok, bband923, and yeah.
Hey, so what do you think about the division round, brother?
Division round? Oh, it was pretty good. Shoot, the Chiefs and Bills game was very good. Patrick Mahomes like proving himself once again that he is that man. Simple as that. Josh Allen had a good game besides that last drive. But yeah, that's the one I was really happy about, the Chiefs win. Now they got to face the Ravens, which we're gonna talk about later, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Hey, Champ, quick question. The Josh Allen segment, that's a whole different segment, or you want us to speak on that too?
Oh, that's a whole nother segment, brother.
All right. Say less, because I got some things I want to talk about. Go ahead.
Oh boy.
Matter of fact, I'll let you go first next segment. Luis?
Patrick Mahomes that's a bad mother trucker right there, man. He's a beast. Like that man, I'm with Frank on this one. Like we've done predictions already on other platforms, but I mean I've been saying it, man. Until somebody can prove to me that they can be on the same level as Patrick Mahomes in these situations, it's going to be hard to not pick Patrick Mahomes every single time. Whenever what was the narrative we heard going into this Buffalo game with Patrick Mahomes?
First playoff game on the road.
First playoff game on the road, and then who was that? Who was that player that jinxed Buffalo, saying he ain't never been here?
I think it was one of Deion Dawkins.
Deion
Dawkins.
Deion Dawkins said he ain't coming our crib. He ain't come in. He's never played in Buffalo in with this magnitude. And Mahomes came in, walked in there, and took his trap. They was in there. They was partying and everything, man. They was in there. Honestly, it was a great, entertaining game. It was very back and forth. But I think we see when Kansas City can actually catch the ball, how much damage Patrick Mahomes can actually do distributing the ball elsewhere. When Travis Kelce's actually catching the ball, opens up for the wide receivers. We saw MVS make crazy plays. And then opens up the run game for Pacheco. So if these Kansas City receivers can actually catch the ball and hold on to it, I don't think it's going to be a cakewalk in Baltimore like people think it's going to be. Yeah. That's just me. But overall, it was good. I don't really got nothing to say about the Detroit game. I don't really got any thoughts.
PSP.
Woo. Okay, let me get a little sip of my decent Ronald.
Yeah.
You back at it.
Love that.
It was a tough one for me Sunday because of Baker. Y'all know me. I love raising that OU helmet. Baker made one huge mistake in that final possession, but overall, I thought Baker played really well. I think Tampa should still keep him for one more year. When I look at San Francisco, Green Bay, I actually thought Green Bay was actually going to win it. They had the momentum. Oh my God, like the return that was fumbled, and then Green Bay was still able to pick it up and later score on a touchdown. Brock Purdy overall didn't play particularly well. CMC stepped it up, but I will give Brock Purdy credit where credit was due on that last drive. Jordan Love made a really bad mistake on that last possession, but I still think the kid is talented. I give a lot of credit to Matt LaFleur, to all the things that Luis has mentioned too about their roster. I mean, they have a really young roster, and I think they're going to go forward. As for the AFC with CJ Stroud and Lamar Jackson, look, I'm not going to be too hard on the Houston Texans because you were going up against the best defense in the NFL. And CJ had issues against the Ravens defense. So I believe there's going to be some growing pains for CJ Stroud. But overall, I believe he'll be fine. I've said it before. I said he was the truth coming out of college. And Champ knows that going back to that Georgia Bulldogs game in last year's college football playoffs. As for the Bills and Chiefs, there's nothing really more you can say about Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. He's special. He's spectacular. Regardless of the circumstances, he still finds a way to get it done. Josh Allen played well. We've been criticizing Josh Allen all along. Can he cut down the turnovers? The past 2 games in the playoffs, no interceptions or anything like that. So he's done his part taking care of the football. Stephon Diggs. Okay, Allen did miss Stephon Diggs on that last play, on that last drive, but he did drop a big pass that Josh Allen, you can't ask for a better throw in that situation. And Buffalo, ever since they fired Ken Dorsey and Joe Brady, if I'm not mistaken, is the offensive coordinator, right, Champ?
Yeah.
You see what happens when you actually run the football? You see how much of a difference that you can actually make Buffalo. I think, and unfortunately, we're going to talk about Josh Allen later. Sean McDermott's going to be out the door. That's a story for another day. I believe he's going to be out the door because once Ken Dorsey's gone, I believe Sean McDermott is going to be gone. But we talk about Patrick Mahomes, but let's give a lot of love to Big Red, Andy Reid. Mm-hmm. He's still one of the better offensive play callers in the NFL. I give credit to their weapons, particularly Marquez Valdes-Scantling. If we're going to criticize them for how much drops they had, let's give them love for stepping up. Travis Kelce had a big game too, reminding folks how great of a tight end he is. Pacheco stepped up big too with the running game. Right. Would have been a 10-point lead had not been McCole Hardman for the fumble. Buffalo, I don't understand the fake punt. Maybe you just did that because you just still wanted to give your offense a chance. Mind you, Kansas City's defense in the second half only held the Bills to 7 points. And remember, their two best players, Willie Gay and Mike Edwards, were out. Willie Gay was out with a neck injury. Mike Edwards was out with a concussion. But still, Kansas City's defense, and they've been consistent all year, and we got to give them love where love's due. But Mahomes, man, I already have my top 5 quarterbacks list. I said Brady, Montana, Mahomes, Manning, Rodgers. If he wins another Super Bowl, I'm not saying he's above Montana. You can make an argument, but he's clearly top 3 in my opinion. He's top 3 of all time. And not only Patrick Mahomes with that GOAT status, you don't think Big Red wants a chance to be considered the greatest coach of all time? Even Joe Champ, you disagree. You still say Belichick. But I still think Andy Reid, if he wants to, if and only if he wants to, he still has a chance to become the greatest head coach of all time if he wants to. Big Red ain't going anywhere. So I think Kansas City versus Baltimore, we're going to talk about that a little later. But as for Buffalo, so close. So close. I don't know what more could you ask Josh Allen to do. I don't know what more could you ask Joe Brady and James Cook to do. The defense, Von Miller, couldn't even get a sack on Patrick Mahomes.
Nope.
But what more? I don't know what else for Buffalo. I hate to say it, but the Super Bowl window for Buffalo at this moment closed.
Which brings me to my next topic.
Yeah, last word.
Is Josh Allen really to blame? And I know my main man last word wanted this. So I'm gonna give
Last
word, you have the floor, brother. Let's hear it. You got 5 minutes.
All right, man, appreciate it. So first off, I want to preface this first. Excuse me, Louis, man, you see my videos, bro. You see in the comments. People, y'all know, everyone knows how I feel towards when it comes to special or really good players. You feel me? Great players. This is my thing. While PSP is right, there's not much more you could have asked from Josh Allen from that game. What I disagree is there was more on the field that was left to be desired. Because if we look at the stats in the fourth quarter, Josh Allen went from completing almost 70% of his passes in the fourth to 50%. His QBR cut down by 20. And on top of the fact, we seen him force errant throws. Almost threw an interception, McDuffie. L'Jarius Sneed could have had the same pick if McDuffie didn't tip the ball. And the fumble that he graciously did not get recovered by the defense. Now, I'm not saying all that to tell you guys Josh Allen deserves all the blame because he doesn't. But at the end of the day, bro, I needed one more play. You are my guy. Listen.
Let him cook.
Listen. We say this shit all the time. What separates the good from the great, bro? A lot of people sit here and say that Josh Allen, you feel me? A lot of people believe Josh Allen is one of the 2 best quarterbacks in the league. A lot of people are under that belief. A lot of people said that he's in the same realm with Patrick Mahomes. All I'm asking for is to prove that. That's all I'm asking. He 0-3 against Mahomes in the playoffs, and he's 0-1 against Joe Burrow. He's lost to both of them at home. Now, listen, again, this isn't me saying Josh Allen wet the bed in the game. But what I am telling you is when Chris Jones is coming on the edge and you clearly see him pressing you, step up in the pocket and make the throw. That's not me asking for him to be Superman. That's me telling him to take what's there. I'm not even talking about the Diggs throw. I ain't even talking about the Dr. Kincaid missed opportunity on the next play. If you're going for the home run ball, which I'm fully behind, you got to step up and make that throw, bro. You have to. You have to be able to perform in these critical situations if you're going to be viewed as the guy that people say you are. And Sports Talk references this the other day on, I think it was Brandon Pod. His his cap hit is about to go from 16 million to 48 million.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. That's
These
ridiculous.
are plays he has to make, bro. They just are. The talent has been there for years. They've had a top 5 defense. They've had the best safety tandem in the league, and Micah and Jerome Porter at one point. Tre'Davious White was a Pro Bowl / All-Pro caliber corner at one point. Matt Milano was an All-Pro. Then you went out and gave him Stephon Diggs to give him a number 1. Then you went out and got Emmanuel Sanders to get a number 2 at one point. I mean, bro, they've given him damn near everything you can ask from a quarterback perspective in terms of talent. Is it the greatest? Maybe not. But can you name 5 of the quarterbacks who's had the talent he's had the last 3-4 years? I personally don't think so.
No,
so I'm saying
Mahomes don't have the talent now.
It has to come a point, bro, where we hold these star players accountable, bro. It has to. And if we don't, bro, I feel like we're doing them a disservice. I truly feel that way.
Hey, last word. I agree 100%. Like I said, at the same time, no, brother, a lot of things. He had the same stat line as Lamar Jackson. I mean, except he scored 1 less touchdown. So, like I said on the
but that's the difference in the game, though, champ. That's the difference, right? You just said it. That's the difference.
That's a unique point.
And losing.
Oh, yeah, that's a unique point, and I can agree with you on that. Hey, to get another opinion, let's go with Brandon. What you got, brother?
Bro, man, last word, I ain't gonna lie, bro. The way that you was talking makes you think you want this man to be perfect, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. Like people like Allen and Herbert, bro. No lie, bro. It's like, y'all, we want him to be perfect, bro. I understand what you're saying, but the thing is, though, he led his team downfield, bro, to a field goal and he missed the kick, bro. Like, I understand last word what you're saying, bro. But at the same time, he led his team downfield, bro. Like, what else you can do? It's a team sport. You get what I'm saying?
All right, so you directing a question at me? Can I answer?
I mean, go ahead. You can respond.
Bro. We got time.
Okay, so listen, Brandon, I completely understand. I'm not here to tell you all Josh Allen didn't play a good game, but what I am here to tell you all, it wasn't good enough. That's the problem. And if we're going to sit here and say that he's one of the, because the other day when we was in the group chat. I think it was Broad and someone else. They said Josh Allen is definitively the second best quarterback in the league. Listen, I'm not asking the man to be perfect. I'm asking you to make one throw. One. That's all I'm asking. He finished the game with 186 yards and completed 16 passes behind the line of scrimmage. He was nowhere near Superman in this game. He had a good game still, regardless. But I'm not asking the man to go out there and be Clark Kent in the phone booth and turn to Superman. What I'm asking him is to be the guy. You are the guy. When you have the look, there's no excuse to miss that throw. When you have the pocket, when you have the pocket in front of you, all you have to do is step up or side step to the right. If you're going for that throw, as if a bus out the window for me, I'm gonna be real with you. They are. If you're going to make that throw, I expect it to be made. Point blank. Period. He's too talented of a player to continuously get these excuses. He's too talented. Because when we look at the wins and losses against the teams he's played and beaten, bro, it's not coincidence that he's losing to some of the more upper echelon teams and quarterbacks in the league at the times. Deshaun Watson beat him his first playoff game. He lost 3 times to Pat Mahomes. He lost to Joe Burrow. And when you go back and look at these games, a lot of the times he has chances in all those games to win. In fact, did he not blow a 13-point lead against the Texans? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he sure did.
So I mean, bro, it has to come a point where we ask for him to be better. I'm not saying he did not play a good game, but I'm saying that it wasn't good enough. If we're going to say he's one of the best players in the league, I expect him to show that when I need the best from him. His best didn't come out when they needed it most. That's the problem. That's the problem.
Right.
All right. I got you.
Do we think we criticize Josh Allen enough because who is the quarterback in most of our eyes, we often compare him to. A lot of people say he's this generation's Brett Favre because of the talent and also the turnovers and mistakes.
Correct.
Last word, I agree with you on that last drive. Yes, that's on Josh Allen. Even though he had Shakur wide open, I felt like you should have given it to Diggs.
Mm.
But we got to look at it collectively with the Buffalo Bills. Stephon Diggs, we keep talking about you as one of the elite receivers in that game. Bro, you didn't show up. Shakur played better than you. For a guy who's considered a top 3, top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, there should be no excuse for you not to show up in that game as well. Josh Allen, yes, if you want to talk about the last drive, that's on him, mostly on him. I felt like that last drive, that's completely on him. But we gotta look at it collectively. Stephon Diggs with drop passes. We gotta look at Buffalo's defense. This should be a good enough defense to go up against Kansas City's offense. Mind you, Kansas City's offense throughout the season, they haven't been at their best. With all the drops that they've had with Marquez Valdes-Scantling, with Travis Kelce. By the way, if you're the Chiefs, you're going to have to get a new tight end because Kelsey's getting up there in age, but that's a story for another day.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't necessarily put this all on Josh Allen. Yes, I understand because of the status that we put him, because I still think he's a top 3, top 5 quarterback in the National Football League. I understand the drives. He's got to get it done no matter what. But we gotta look at this collectively. Stephon Diggs dropping catches. Remember, Sean McDermott said go for it. Why in that situation would you go for a fake punt when you're only down 3 points?
With DeMar Hamlin at that.
Thank you. And when you look at how well you are running the football effectively, when you look at the defense, when you look at everything that has to be taken into consideration, 2 things could be true. Last word. I agree with you that last drive, yes, we need to see Josh Allen because for a player of his caliber, we need to see you step up in those big games and big moments. But at the same time, we got to look at the other players. If we're going to hold Josh Allen to that standard, same thing with Stephon Diggs. There should be no excuse for that type of a receiver to not play well in that game. So I feel like we have to hold everyone accountable as well. But last word, as far as the last drive, no, I don't necessarily blame you on Josh Allen on that one.
No, I thought say the great thing you said. I said on Brandon's show the other day, man. Stephon Diggs done took some seats back in my top receiver rankings. He can't continuously come up short and not get it done.
I agree with you. I've been agreeing with everybody with Stephon Diggs. Like, to me, and I've held Trent accountable for this, and I'm a big firm believer. If you're a superstar player in this league and you're not hitting superstar expectations, you have to be held accountable and you got to be knocked down a couple kegs. We did the same thing with Travis Kelce this year. Travis Kelce did not play how Travis Kelce plays. So what did we say? George Kittle got moved ahead, and there was even conversations to move Mark Andrews up ahead of Travis Kelce. Now exactly. the things with Stephon Diggs that makes me so mad is, dude, you're the number 1 wide receiver on your team. You're looked at as a consensus top 5 receiver in the NFL. You have one of the very best quarterbacks in the NFL. And on top of that, you're one of the more targeted receivers in the NFL. There is absolutely no reason why you should give me 1,100 yards. And there's absolutely no reason that the past 2 months that Shakir has been outplaying you with less targets. It comes to a point where we have to hold Diggs accountable. You're the superstar receiver, but you're not playing like it. And maybe it's just a down year. Maybe he might cook up again next year. But Diggs has not been good all year. He's been, like last word said, that boy been seatbelt strapped for 2 months.
And to your point, Luis, remember last year Stephon Diggs had a lot to say. Remember last year's divisional round playoff loss to the Bengals. Mm-hmm. So Josh Allen, yes, I understand that drive, but Stephon Diggs, you are in no position to be criticizing and for you to be pouting and stuff like that. And it looks bad on your part because, unfortunately for you, you're going to have this narrative, this perception of you of being a diva. And if you look at Stephon Diggs right now, you're not taking him over Justin Jefferson. Would you take him over Devontae? Would you take him over? Would you take him over Tyreek Hill?
I've been taking.
God, no.
I've been taking.
We'll be glad to have him in Atlanta.
Yeah, I know you would. But you got to deal with that. But you got to deal with Desmond Ridder.
With Diggs is what I'm saying is like 1,100 is good for a guy like Terry McLaurin, but you're better than Terry McLaurin. There's no reason every year Stephon Diggs with Josh Allen should not be putting up 1,300 or 1,400 yards a year. I only give passes to superstar players on under two occasions. One, if you're injured, like a Justin Jefferson, or two, if your conditions absolutely suck, like Devontae Adams. Diggs, you're in one of the most perfect positions. I compare Diggs' position right now similar to a guy like CeeDee Lamb. You have one of the better quarterbacks in the league, and you're one of the most targeted receivers in the league. CeeDee Lamb, being one of the most targeted receivers in the league, put up one of the best receiving seasons we've had. There's no reason why you should have all these targets and only give me 1,100 yards. That is ridiculous for a superstar. Ridiculous.
Okay.
I agree completely.
Can I play a little devil's advocate right quick?
Here you go.
All right, go ahead.
I got to get on this at one point. I'll let Brandon go.
Do y'all think, like, put into consideration, like, he do be double team too, or triple team sometimes? Like,
I'm not giving him that, Brandon. Because
Tyreek just put up. He was 1 yard away from 1,800, and he was double teamed every play.
I was just asking a question. I was just asking a question.
No, you good. You good. I'm just saying, bro. Every star receiver of his caliber is seeing that kind of coverage, bro. Every single last one of them.
Okay.
All right, then. Hey, Frank, my fellow Georgia boy, what you got to say, brother?
All right, so I kind of did a video on this like a few days ago that's kind of got a little traction, and it's basically it was the one I think my boy Jackie Boy Sports had and I stitched him. It was basically who's this generation's Brady versus Manning, and I said there isn't one yet because there's no one near Patrick Mahomes as far as just sheer overall performance, whether it be stats, accolades, just the whole 9 yards. And I think there's no one on his tier yet. Why I don't think there's technically a Brady Manning yet, but the one name they always throw out is Josh Allen. And I kind of feel like this with Josh Allen is a standpoint of eventually. I get the point about Stephon Diggs not showing up and all that stuff, but we got to remember the same Josh Allen that threw Gabe Davis in that game against KC for what 200 2 bills.
Yeah, I think he had 4 touchdowns.
He went crazy.
Him and Gabe Davis practically destroyed the Chiefs secondary in Kansas City, and it only took Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Tyreek Hill being the damn superstars they are to pull that win off. So I feel like from a standpoint of like, eventually, I'm not gonna keep like, if you're looked at as like the next closest to Patrick Mahomes, you got to find a way to do something. Even if your number one ain't showing up, you got to find a way to do something. Whether it's Dalton Kincaid, whether it's Kincaid, or whether it's like James Cook out the backfield, or whether it's Dawson Knox, just somebody. You gotta find a way to try to galvanize the troops to make a play somehow, some way. I feel like at the end of the day, like with him, like guys like him, guys like Justin Herbert, who we want to look at as elite quarterbacks, but y'all ain't winning when it matters. Like I can't keep finding so many excuses for them, year after year after year in the playoffs, especially like what he was talking about with Josh Allen's cap hit basically being triple going in the next year. If that Super Bowl window ain't closed, it's like that. It's nearing that point because you're gonna get to a point where you're making the majority of the money, and you're not gonna be able to get a lot of the players that you want to get on the Buffalo because you're about to start making a lot of the salary cap, a lot of the money. So I think it's one of those where it's like, as good as Josh Allen is, eventually you got to come through in one of these games at some point. And this was the game that I mean, a lot of people were picking Buffalo to win this game. A lot of people felt like this was finally it. This was the most vulnerable Kansas City has been going into really any playoffs since Patrick Mahomes has been the starter. So this was the game Buffalo was supposed to do it. If you
but
can't
isn't that
get
a testament to how great Mahomes is, though? Because
that's what. Oh, I agree. I agree. Most definitely, that is a testament to how great Patrick Mahomes is. Because I still pick Kansas City to win that game, just because
I did.
I picked Kansas City to win that game. I picked them to win that game because it's still until you prove to me you beat Patrick Mahomes. I'm not. Well, in Josh Allen's case, I'm not going to pick you to beat Patrick Mahomes until you show me you can do it. So, because I mean, I still pick Kansas City to win that game, but at the same time, if you're Josh Allen and you've had chance after chance and you keep not getting it done, it's like, okay, when it is. I'm questioning if it's going to. I'm questioning exactly when is it going to happen. I'm questioning now if it's going to happen, especially with his contract about to get jacked up with the money he's about to start making.
And,
so
and
it's
not
like,
to mention with Von Miller and Stephon Diggs, they both about to make 20 plus next year.
Exactly.
And
Frank, Von Miller's contract is crazy.
Frank, this is where I agree with last word on the Josh Allen thing, because we look at the top 5 quarterbacks in the league, and Josh Allen is amongst the top 5. It comes to a point. It sounds cringy. Like I said, I'm a casual. I'm trying to get my knowledge up there, but it comes to a point. You got to have a legacy game at some point.
Exactly.
I don't care who you're throwing to. I don't care the circumstances. It comes to a point where you literally got to put that knight in shining armor on and show everybody, I'm that guy. I'm going to take over and I'm going to win. Lamar has been doing Lamar this season just finally got his most consistent weapons that he's had. But he's been having legacy game after legacy game after legacy game carrying Baltimore. I'm not saying Josh Allen hasn't had legacy games, but what is it? This is the second time somebody has walked inside his trap and took over. Cincinnati did it last year. Dog walked you in the snow, beat the brakes off you. Then you let Patrick Mahomes come in with Kelsey regressing, with the team that had the most drops in the NFL, with no true number 1 wide receiver, and you let Mahomes walk in there and take your trap. It comes to a point you got to be that guy and completely take over. You got to be the man. You got to have a legacy game at some point.
Yeah,
you can't have people
walk in and take your trap.
I think you're demoralized though.
Pacheco had a good game too, bro.
Yeah.
I love watching
people
sleeping
on Pacheco.
He's
having a good postseason run.
Champ, can I ask you this question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think, and this is just me, do you think that the Bills still to this day are demoralized? Because normally 13 seconds, that's not a lot of time for any team to get into field goal possession. But I think, in my opinion, they're still demoralized from that divisional round, because what more could you ask from Josh Allen? He played perfect or close to perfect in that game. And the fact that Kansas City was still able to get into field goal position, hit the game-tying field goal, get their chance in overtime, and score on the game-winning drive. Do you think this is the farthest Josh Allen has reached?
Yeah, I think he's reached the pinnacle at a certain point. I don't think it's over, to be honest with you. I don't think it's over. The thing is, hey, renegotiations and restructuring of contracts happen every year. And if you really look at it, some guys are willing to take and defer some of their contract on the back end in order to bring another weapon there. Plus, you got to think about this. The draft is on its way. So you could possibly trade up and get another wide receiver for Josh Allen in order for him to have a number 2 to go opposite of Stephon Diggs if he comes back. Like I said, if he don't want to come back, we'll be happy to have him on the opposite side of Drake London in Atlanta.
No, you need a quarterback. You need a quarterback. You need a quarterback. You don't want Spencer. You want to deal with Desmond Ridder for another year?
No, not really. Let's go to the chat real quick, guys. Hot take Kenny. Acknowledge me. You are acknowledged.
Oh boy.
Acknowledge.
There you go.
Hot take. Hey, shout out to Hot Take Kenny, man. Had fun on your podcast earlier today.
But he does a great job of his podcast.
But Champ, if I may, to just touch on what PSP said about the 13 seconds, real quick. I rewatched that clip probably like 50 times. And to me, that's not even on the defense. To me, that's coaching. If you look at those two plays, did you see how much space was how much like they were far back from Travis Kelce and Tyreek?
Yeah,
Like
that's the game. I thought Sean McDermott was
That's
going to do
that's to me, that's coaching.
Boy,
That's
what?
coaching.
That's cool.
100%.
Luis, I agree with you. It's cluelessness on the coach's part.
Coaching is crazy.
So that leads me. I don't know if we have enough time. Is Sean McDermott out the door?
He should be.
We'll save that for another segment. PSP. Let's acknowledge the members of the chat real quick. My boy K Witt, walk in and take over your trap. You got something going there, Louise. Hey, shout out.
It's not even mine, man.
Boy.
I heard. Was that Ryan Clark that said that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that was Ryan Clark.
That does sound like something people say, yeah.
It's a song, but he did say it.
Hey, shout out to my people from Rec Room Sports every single Tuesday at 9:30 as well.
Oh yeah.
Every single Tuesday.
What's
Shout
on?
out to K Witt as well, man. Every single Tuesday, 9:30. Hey, you'll catch me on their show as well, going over the playoffs. Shout out to my guys from Rec Room Sports. Next topic.
We're getting the snot beat out of us right now. This is terrible.
Oh, who playing? Miami?
Yeah. Celtics are just too good.
Hey,
yeah.
Coaching choices. Hey, man, look. Woo. When we first started off, this is who we started off with right here. This is who we started off with. We had Mike Vrabel, you had Pete Carroll, Bill Belichick, Jim Harbaugh, Ben Johnson. Those are the guys who we was rocking with. But as of lately, none of that shit been happening, to be honest, too.
Wow.
So the only coach that's
Vrabel looks so weird, man. Vrabel looks so
the only
weird.
coach that came off this, the only coach that has come off this board, as a matter of fact, is Jim Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, look, we got two. Hey, remember the Panthers hired their coach? I forget his name.
Dave.
Yeah, they just
Canary,
announced they signed him to a 6-year deal.
Ooh, he probably be going in 3. He be going.
I know we Falcons fan, champ, but don't be speaking on the Panther like that. Don't do him like that.
I'm just saying.
But everyone should have known they wasn't going to sign no big name coach though.
Yeah,
nobody don't want to go there.
But the thing is, like I said, these were the coaches that we were talking about. The only one out of every last one of these guys on this list that got hired was Jim Harbaugh.
It's Jim Harbaugh.
That was
crazy.
it.
My dude.
He went to where I thought he was going to go though. I kind of figured Jim Harbaugh was going to. It was a perfect fit for me. It made perfect sense for him to go to the Chargers.
Right.
Absolutely.
But a lot of these coaching hires, I will say this: one in particular didn't make sense. I mean, Brian Callahan, or do somebody know something I don't know?
I don't
know.
I can't tell you nothing.
I'm just a casual.
I mean, Brian Callahan of all people. I mean,
yeah, I don't get that.
Maybe I
hate Tennessee for that. You gave Mike Vrabel
Champ. He and Will Levis. I told you because I've been criticized. I've been joking on Will Levis, the Mayo man. Just go look at it. Maybe they have a huge obsession for Mayo sandwiches or something.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, that's gross.
But yeah, that did not make any sense to me for Callahan. In my humble opinion, they should have stuck with Mike Vrabel. To be honest with you, I mean, if you was going to hire Callahan, you should have just stuck with what you had. I don't see you getting much better than Mike Vrabel at this point.
Right, exactly.
And but I got to ask this question to the entire panel, and we'll go around the room. Why do you think that Bill Belichick's not getting hired? PSP?
That's a good question.
I know you're gonna ask me because there have been reports about him possibly joining the Commanders.
Yeah.
First of all, let's just get this out the way.
Uh-oh.
Jim Harbaugh was gonna get signed with the Chargers. No way he was gonna go to the Cowboys. Jerry Jones ain't gonna fire Mike McCarthy. Jerry Jones gonna continue his yes man. Why do you think he got Mike McCarthy? Beer and nachos. He spent the night at Jerry's crib having beer and nachos. I mean, hey, ain't nothing wrong with beer and nachos. I love beer and nachos. But with Bill Belichick, I said this on my old podcast, and I've said this on the Sports PSP podcast. Having Bill Belichick on today's team is kind of like Phil Jackson with the New York Knicks. They're going to be blind. No, here's why I say that. Ooh. People are blinded with the fact that Bill Belichick is a 6-time Super Bowl champion head coach. Without question, the greatest head coach, regardless of what you want to say about him with Spygate, Deflategate, whatever it is. You cannot take away what Bill Belichick has accomplished. But in today's game, and I've said this, ever since Tom Brady's departure, he hasn't been the same. And when you look at the type of guys that he brings in, I mean, come on. Mac Jones ain't the best quarterback in the world to deal with. I understand that. But you put Matt Patricia and Joe Judge as your offensive coordinators for him to work with in his second year. Then you look at with Bill Belichick. I'm surprised that Atlanta didn't give him the job. Maybe because he was – I have no idea why. But with Bill Belichick, man, and this is just an example. And if we're going to accuse college football coaches like Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney, and others not getting ahead with the times, then the same thing has to apply with Bill Belichick. It can't just be DYJ, do your job. It can't be the Patriots way. That style is not conducive anymore because we've seen that with other head coaches that don't have the credentials as you. We saw what happened with Josh McDaniels. We don't need to go any further what happened with Josh McDaniels. We've seen Romeo Crennel. We've seen Joe Judge, Matt Patricia. We've seen all the coaches that come from the Belichick coaching tree. Bill, if you really want to still be a head coach on the NFL level, you're just going to have to get ahead with the times. You're going to have to make adjustments in today's game. You can't just be the old Patriots way. That day, that chapter is over. I still believe that he could be an authoritative figure. I still believe he could be a guy that can help out a team, can help out with the defensive side of the football. That's about it. But I do not want him being responsible for football decisions. I don't want him to be responsible for that. Perhaps that does play a factor as well. Right. But I think that's the reason why. Because like I said, people look at the championships, but if you look at him recently, in the words of Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? And without Tom Brady, what does Bill Belichick have done for me lately? He hasn't done nothing other than make one appearance in the playoffs, and that was against the Bills, and the Bills shutted them down in the wild card game. So since that time, we haven't heard anything with Bill Belichick. My suggestion is maybe he still wants to coach because he wants to break Don Shula's record for the most wins for a head coach. Maybe he wants to prove people I can win the championship with Belichick without Brady. My suggestion for Bill Belichick is no matter what people may say, retire. You're going to go to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, deservedly so. No matter what people may say, I think you should retire, head to your new chapter in life, be with your grandkids, be with your family, etc., and go from there. That's all I got to say.
And let's go to the chat real quick. This generation of players, shout out to my boy K Witt. This generation of players aren't his generation. He'll be great in the front office. Take him off the sidelines, put him up front. Hey, you my main man, Witt, but I'm going to tell you this. He's horrible in the front office, my friend. He is terrible.
He was literally the GM for New England.
He is terrible. No, even before these last couple of years, you got to take into consideration how many great players that he passed up on in order to get these diamonds in the rough. You know,
right. But also too, Champ, Bill Belichick, I've heard, isn't it true that he wanted to keep Jimmy Garoppolo because he felt that Garoppolo was going to be the successor to Brady?
Yeah, he wanted to keep him. That is a fact.
Yeah, he wanted. They was actually trying to trade Tom Brady at one point.
But they were arguing, bro. But Robert Kraft was like, "Nah."
Yeah, Robert Kraft. I was going to say that Robert Kraft interfered and said, "No, Tom Brady's going to play for as long as he wants. Trade Jimmy Garoppolo," and that's what they did. They traded him to San Francisco.
I think they won 2 Super Bowls after that with Brady. They beat Atlanta and LA.
Yeah, they did.
Like Bill,
they beat Atlanta and the Rams. Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I mean, was Bob Kraft right about? Well, excuse me, Mr. Kraft right about his assessment? Because Jimmy Garoppolo ain't worth the salt and the bread right about now. So
Robert Kraft is a good owner. Like he doesn't get enough credit for stepping in because Bill. There was a lot of times where Bill wanted to blow it up, and Robert Kraft is like, "Bro, do you see what we have? Are you stupid? Are you stupid?"
That's what you got. That's what you got to have as an NFL owner. You have to have some cachet behind yourself because the thing is, without you being that last word, no pun intended, you wouldn't be a franchise. And if you was a hands-off owner and you wouldn't take control of your franchise, then you wouldn't have a chance, and you know what, in order to win anything. You got to have an owner with some vision.
I'm looking at Stephen Ross. He ain't got nothing for us. Like I'm looking right at him.
That's just a man with money, man. That man don't even understand football.
I've been wanting to fight him for years.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, ain't nothing like franchises that are literally money pits. But hey, anybody else got something?
Yeah, I'm. Oh,
go ahead,
you
Brandon.
go ahead.
Because, I said, these are like I said, I put it on the screen again. These are the coaches that we expected to hire, and instead we got a whole bunch of shocking hires.
I will say this for Brandon. I will say this for Brandon. He is happy that Justin Herbert finally has a head coach to actually work with. So
GG's.
He's ecstatic. He's related. But like I said, champ, and I told you this before, man, and I told you this on the off the air. Dallas Cowboys, damn sure in hell, they weren't getting Bill Belichick or Jim Harbaugh because it's going to cost them a ton of money. Until Jerry Jones stays out the way, until he's no longer the owner and GM of the Cowboys, they're not gonna win. Period.
Hey,
I've been said that.
Yo, Champ, I will say this because didn't y'all give Bill a second interview?
Yeah, we gave Bill a second interview. That's the thing. Like I said, I expected the Atlanta Falcons to do one of these superstar hires. Mm-hmm. And the last one we did was Dan Reeves. So I expected one of those. Instead, we ended up with Coach Morris. Okay. Instead, we ended up with Coach Morris, which he knows his way around the franchise because he's been there before. Wide receivers coach, defensive coordinator. Plus, he took over as the interim coach of the team with Dan Quinn, ended up getting fired on the tail end of that Super Bowl team, and that team was a disaster. Now, to Raheem Morris's credit, the two teams that he had wasn't very good, and the fact that he only had one winning season wasn't his fault. John Gruden had just ran that team into the ground, so the only thing they had was the only Pro Bowler they had was Donald Penn, and you had to think about it. He had Josh Freeman as his quarterback. And y'all know what my favorite sayings about quarterbacks like Josh Freeman, right? Couldn't pass gas if you fed him beans all night.
He wasn't that bad in 2010, though. It's just later in his career if you regress.
Still, man, Josh Freeman was not that good. I mean, for him to even go 10-6 and be in third place in that division, that's a stretch.
Yeah, that division was tough.
So for us to get a person that's familiar with the organization is good, but I expected a superstar hire. But Frank, what says you, brother?
I personally, I can get with the Raheem Morris hire because I feel like, because we talked about this a little bit before the show, but a lot of people are already shooting down that hire before he even get in the building. What people forget and what people got to understand is that man was 32 years old when he took the Tampa Bay job. So it's like, yeah, people are saying, okay, he was ready to be a head coach at the time, but at the same time, it's like he's 32 years old, and you're following John Gruden. Granted, John Gruden won a Super Bowl with Tony Dungy's players, but that's neither here nor there. But I feel like my thing with the Falcons from getting a coaching standpoint, for me, it didn't necessarily have to be a superstar hire, but it needed to be someone who could coach as far as the times of the day, being able to understand the players, being able to relate to the players, but still, but being able to be a leader of men. And I honestly feel like seeing Raheem Morris, basically the LA Rams pretty much went to bat for this man because the Atlanta Falcons, their brass had to speak to them as far as like, how do you feel about like, we're thinking about bringing him on. What do y'all think? And the fact that they went to bat for him the way that they did, and you're seeing like a lot of the players coming out and like texting about the hire, former players texting about the hire, analysts speaking about the hire, talking about how Atlanta was right for making that move. You just see how people gravitate towards Raheem Morris, and that's why I'm not really hating on the hire at all. As a matter of fact, I feel like I like the hire because I feel like at his age, with him still being only 47 years old, he's still young enough to kind of get with the times and get with these players and come in and instantly form a good relationship with some of these players, which he already has anyway. But to be able to just come in and be able to, galvanize them off the bat, I have no problem with the hire. And like the Jim Harbaugh thing, I called the LA Chargers from the jump. As far as I'm concerned, I feel like there was not another organization wasn't gonna. The fact that Atlanta was even in the running shocked me. I thought it was going to be the LA Chargers or Jim Harbaugh, and that's it. So when I heard that they had locked him up, I wasn't shocked at all because I mean the narrative is there. It's almost like full circle for him because he played in the Chargers organization as he was the quarterback in the Chargers organization at
Was
one
he
time.
not a Pro Bowler as well for him?
I want to say he wasn't. I want
No,
to say
he was with the Indianapolis Colts.
Oh, he was with the. I think it was with the Colts.
I think he went to the Chargers because of the quarterback that he has in Herbert. Herbert's the best quarterback he's worked with going back to his days at Stanford with Andrew Luck.
Oh yeah, I mean most definitely.
That Stanford's crazy.
Yeah, going to work with Justin Herbert, as good of a talent as he is, I mean that just made perfect sense. And I think with the Bill Belichick situation, I think it was just more along the lines of, I think I don't know, I would have been cool with it, but then I think this was Terry Fontenot. They're saying Fontenot and Rich McKay got in Arthur Blank's ear. I think this was more Terry Fontenot getting into Arthur Blank's ear and was like, okay, I understand you might like this guy, but let's round everybody up. Let's kind of get a good evaluation of all the guys before we go and rushing into picking a head coach. And then Raheem Morris, with his relationship already with Arthur Blank, having a good relationship, already knowing that organization, it shocked me that he wowed them to the point of getting the head coaching job. But I don't have a problem with the Raheem Morris job and with getting the job. And I think some of the fans down here who are already trashing the hire before he gets in there need to calm the hell down and let him get in there, let him get his guys, and let him build something and see what kind of culture he can bring down here before we shoot him down, because people are already trying to call him out in like 2 or 3 years. And I'm like, chill out. Y'all don't know. We might have our Dan Campbell. Chill out. Give it a year or two and let's see where it goes. Quit. That's the problem with the fans out here.
We'll give you EB.
Say it again.
We'll give you Eric Bieniemy, because I don't know if Eric Bieniemy is going to stay in Washington. We may give you EB if you're interested.
Eric. Yeah, he at this point, I think he is pretty much at that level where I think he does want to be a head coach. Now, I still think he's a really, really good offensive coordinator. I mean, good gracious, he had Sam Howell leading the league for most of the year in passing yards. So, I mean, he's definitely still a really good coordinator, and he's still a really good play caller. So,
but I don't see him becoming the head coach though, because again, they're probably going to go with the splash in Ben Johnson. Champ loves it. I'm just giving Champs. I'm just singing Champs choir right now. He wants EB. We know that for a fact.
Yeah, Eric Bieniemy would be great, especially for if we bring in a young quarterback. As long as, and you know this for a fact, Frank, back me up on this, as long as Rich McKay does not start with this whole drafting from Florida schools, we'll be all right. If he doesn't start, hey, you know I'm not lying. You know how Rich McKay is about the Florida States, the University of Miami's in the Florida.
Rich
McKay at the end of the day needs to let Terry Fontenot do his thing as far as the player personnel and the draft. And he needs to get the hell out that man's way and let Terry Fontenot do his thing, because the cap hell we were in as an organization, for Terry Fontenot to not only get us out of that, but for us to be at a point where we're talking 50, 60, 70 million potential dollars to be able to spend and go get people, get out of Terry Fontenot's way and let that man do his job at the end of the day. He obviously has a mind for this, and he obviously knows what he's doing. So let the man do his thing and quit trying to control everything. I think this was more Terry Fontenot saying, let's make sure we analyze this properly before we go rushing, getting into bed with somebody before we know what's good for us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I think Champ is upset because, again, Arthur Blank, remember that press conference video I showed you on why they didn't get Lamar Jackson, and he went off. So,
yeah. Hey, man, I always say the only difference between this team right now and if we would have gotten Lamar Jackson would have been Bijan Robinson wouldn't have been there.
And our defense would have been trash.
And our defense would have been a lot worse because we probably wouldn't have been able to get Jesse Bates. So is it right? In a sense, yes. But do we still need a quarterback? Yes, because contrary to popular belief, Frank backed me up on this. We have not replaced Matt Ryan yet.
I told people it wasn't going to be as easy as they were trying to make it sound. That people trying to make it sound like it was just going to be cake that we were going to replace him. And I'm just like, no, it's not. Because the city as a whole never appreciated that man. 14 years putting in the work he did, being a borderline Hall of Famer. I personally think he is. I know a lot of people argue against me on that. I personally think
I agree.
Day he's going.
I
personally think Matt Ryan one day is going to. Yeah, like he's not first ballot, but I think Matt Ryan is ultimately eventually going to get in. Just because I just feel like he was just slept on for the
numbers. The numbers are there. The numbers are there.
I mean,
throughout his career, he's a top 10 quarterback. The MVP, you can't discount that.
Exactly. And the one point that I go back to as far as he's concerned, people talk about this era and the plethora, like the passing yards and how it's just gone to such a degree. And I keep asking the same question and I'm still waiting on the response. If the passing yards are so much more spread out nowadays, why is Matt Ryan the only one in NFL history with 10 straight years of at least 4,000 yards?
Hell of a question to ask. And hey, people still ain't answered it yet. PSP, you had something?
Oh no, I was just gonna say we all know you don't want Kyler in the ATL. We won't.
No.
Yeah,
I got backup on that. So you see, I'm in the great words of Michael Jackson.
No.
I am not alone.
With us hiring Raheem, this just solidifies. I think they're about to take the home run swing and try to get one of those top 3 quarterbacks. I think that's what they're about to do.
You don't think you guys get Justin Fields?
It's either going to be one of the top 3 or him. I'll say this: it's going to be a young quarterback. It's either going to be Justin Fields or one of the big 3. I think the more is higher solidifies they're going in the direction of a younger quarterback.
You better get Jaden Daniels, because if you're going to stick around for another year with Desmond Ridder, Champ's gonna be Lord have mercy, his blood pressure.
Hey man, you know I already ain't got no line.
Hey.
I lost some of my hair this week.
I talked Champ into Jaden Daniels. I've been on the Jaden Daniels bandwagon. I actually talked Champ into Jaden Daniels because I've watched his film at LSU. That's just the fact that he's able to already process information the way he does, being able to lead his receivers, just being able to play the quarterback position and not just be this sick athlete that he is. The fact that he can play the quarterback position. In a perfect world, I would love to see Jaden Daniels in Atlanta. I think I talked Champ a little bit into Jaden Daniels. I've been on the bandwagon.
Yeah, he had him for the Heisman.
Yeah, because I was on.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
yeah. Because I was on Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix. I wanted one of those two.
The Heisman for me, Jaden Daniels locked that up with that 300-yard, 200-yard game he had against, I think it was Florida. He locked that up then.
Yeah. Hey, I give you a lot of credit, Frank. Hey, especially that video I put out about Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, because I wanted one of those two. You said out of your own mouth, I got to give you your flowers on this. Take Jaden Daniels. Take neither one of those. And shout out to my boy Jackie Boy Sports from TikTok. You know what it is. Go follow him on TikTok. One of my main people on TikTok. He said you could definitely do Lamar Jackson stuff with him.
You can. You can.
Hey,
Jaden Daniels is that type of athlete.
Hey, if for those who don't know, that falls back on the quarterback comments. Hey, good one, Jackie. Hey, next topic.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I hate that, but that's another
topic. Let's get to.
That's a whole nother story for another day.
Let's get to it.
But who would a Super Bowl mean the most to?
Dolphins fans.
These 4 quarterbacks, or 4 franchises for that matter. As you see, we have San Francisco, you have the Lions, you have Lamar Jackson, and you have Patrick Mahomes. So out of these 4 franchises and 4 quarterbacks, who the Super Bowl mean the most to? We'll start with Frank since we ended on you, brother.
I was talked into this in one of our last lives, and I honestly feel this way now. If the Detroit Lions win this Super Bowl, shut the city down for a month. Like straight up. If the Detroit Lions win this Super Bowl, I would want to fly to Detroit to try to get to some of them parties, man. Like straight up. Like it would oh my gosh. The NFC Championship game apparently is going to have Joe Montana and Barry Sanders as their honorary captains. I think you did a video on that, champ.
Yes, sir.
The fact that Detroit has gotten it, let me tell you something. That game against the Rams, that first playoff game, fans were crying in the stands.
Yeah.
That puts it all in perspective. Like the Detroit Lions winning this Super Bowl would basically just, as far as like NFL purgatory, would completely lift that city out of it, and it would just bring so much joy to that city. And honestly, for the teams they've seen, the ownerships, the GMs, the front offices that they have had, for them to finally be able to get a team like this together to get to the NFC title game and contend and potentially win, if they win it, I think it's easily Detroit for me, with all the hell they've been through, to be able to get to a point like this, to be a contending team. If they were to win this, oh man, they would shut the city down out of straight craziness. The parties that they were going to throw in Detroit. It is Detroit for me by a landslide if they win this championship.
Brandon?
I'm gonna go a different route. I'm going Lamar. I think if Lamar wins this, because mind you, he about to win MVP, so I'll make him a 2-time MVP. Then add that to a Super Bowl, man, his legacy, bro, will be up there. Like, and you would talk about in the all-time greats too. You know what I'm saying? And mind you, I don't think there was ever a running quarterback like that ever won the Super Bowl, like his style of running, like the Vic. You know what I'm saying? So like
Cam.
Yeah, Cam. Yeah. So like I'll say Lamar.
Hey, Ravens, this ain't no debate. Shout out to Trey. Y'all know what it is.
Trey.
All right. Next comment. Hey, Jackie. Shout out to Jackie Boy Sports once again. Dan Campbell definitely did the statue if they do. Can't argue with that one. Last word.
I mean, as big as it would be for Detroit, and rightfully so, man, that city is deserving, man. I love seeing that, losing franchises, or, franchises who's been in purgatory and poverty their entire existence, then they'll rise from the ashes. But I'm not gonna lie, man. For me personally, I don't know how y'all feel, but me, it's bigger than football when it comes to Lamar at this point. And I want to see him do it just for the sake of the culture. I'm not gonna lie. Like the way the media talk about Lamar, man, honestly, it bothers me in a way that it shouldn't, but it does.
Facts.
And
I agree.
If he goes out there and he shuts up a lot of people, to me, that is one of the most beautiful stories of headlines you will ever see coming out any Super Bowl weekend. So I gotta go Lamar for that reason.
So let me ask you something, last word. When you say this right here, and I'm just going to ask, wouldn't you say that Dak Prescott gets a little bit more criticism than Lamar as well?
You say he gets more criticism?
Yeah, wouldn't you say that Dak Prescott gets more criticism than Lamar Jackson? But rightfully so, but do you think that?
I mean, I don't – the difference between the criticisms between the two is that Dak is going to get the criticism he gets because he plays for the Cowboys. As long as that star is on your helmet, it's going to come your way. It just is. And now, whether that's fair or unfair, that's what it is. That comes with being the blunt of America's team. The thing with Dak and Lamar is that Dak wasn't coming out of college and playing quarterback his entire life, and people was trying to convincingly tell him, yo, you could be a good receiver in this league. You just got to make the transition. Like,
Bill Polian.
You don't have the arm talent to be a top-notch quarterback. Or you see like the Colin Cowherds, the Stephen A's of the world saying he's not even close to the prospect Sam Darnold and these guys is. Like, it came a point where it was it was bigger than football. And you could tell just how people was dancing around who he is as a player. Mm-hmm. And that's why I said I'm not sure now if we're talking strictly football, then I can somewhat agree that they both receive unfair criticism, excuse me. But when it comes to the criticism of what they do on the field and just how they play the game, I think that's a whole different can of worms you're opening. And that's why I say I feel as if it still is Lamar Jackson.
You know what? I will say this. I like Lamar Jackson simply because this. If you really think about a lot of running quarterbacks in the past, Randall Cunningham, Mike Vick, Cam, you know, if you really look at him, I don't understand the criticism he gets. Because if you really want to be honest about you, he's one of the most button-up quarterbacks out of all of those guys you're ever going to see. He's not very flashy. I'm talking about as far as his personality-wise. Usually you see these guys with these personality, you know. But with Lamar Jackson, you don't see that.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. You know, Cam, huge personality, huge bravado. Michael Vick in Atlanta, huge bravado. Randall Cunningham had his own late night talk television show that mimicked Arsenio Hall's. I don't know how many of y'all remember that, but I remember. But yeah, his bravado is not that big. He don't have this mega-sized ego where the world revolves around him.
He's more humble than people actually give him credit.
Yeah, so the fact that he gets the criticism that the way he does, I don't get it, to be honest with you.
I'll just make this quick point, then we can keep going. I think with Lamar, I think it just comes from a standpoint of he heard all the criticism coming out of college. Like Luis was saying, like what y'all saying, the Colin Cowherds of the world is talking about he's not that great of a prospect. He should switch to wide receiver. He heard all that coming out of college. So he's just been on this mission. He's just had this, I wouldn't even call it a chip. He's had like this big boulder on his shoulder that he's been carrying, wanting to prove these people wrong and show, hey, I can play QB at the highest level with a lot of these guys that have played. And I think it's more along the lines, he's locked in right now, and he's trying to make you aware of how good he is as a quarterback, not just as a running quarterback, but as a running quarterback. And I, for one, I know he shut me up this year because I made videos saying, yeah, he's good, but when is he going to finally show me that elite level passing that we need out of him in order to take that next step? And this year was it. Lamar Jackson as a passer is as good as I've ever seen him this year. It has been as good as I've ever seen him this year. Being able to lead his receivers, being able to drop dimes on his receivers, just playing the quarterback position with the efficiency that he's been able to play. He shut me up this year. I told you this before. I got nothing bad to say about him.
And not to mention his contract. Because
most
because
definitely.
Remember how the way he handled it, how he had no agent.
Everybody said he should have got an agent. Yeah,
he handled that like a champ.
Even I criticize him for that. And also too, what helped him was him refusing not to play in that playoff game. You remember when Michael Vick said, "Hey, strap on a knee, strap on a brace, play." But RG3, and I would know this for a fact, champ, and you know this well. Mm-hmm. When he played in that game against the Seahawks, he was never the same as far as athletic.
What's crazy is RG3 said the same thing.
Yeah, RG3 was like, Lamar was writing this one. Sit this one out. Do not play. Otherwise, it could sabotage his career. Well, Lamar Jackson had to be listening from RG3 or somebody. And guess what? It's helping out Lamar. Lamar's about to win the second MVP. I think he's under the most pressure to win it. Because if he wins the Super Bowl and the Super Bowl MVP, it's a no-brainer. I think he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Oh, easy.
If he doesn't win a Super Bowl, I still believe there's still going to be an argument or a case for the Hall of Fame because you can't ignore the two league MVPs. Other than Mahomes and Rodgers, he has more Super Bowl more league MVPs than any other current quarterback that we can possibly think of. Also, too, I would love to see Lamar do it. Let's be honest, folks. We're almost in February. Black History Month. Don't we want to see something happen on Black History Month?
Hey, PSP is cooking.
I mean, listen, I love everybody, but I would love to see a black quarterback win on Black History Month. That's just me. That's just how I feel about it.
Hey,
but
Patrick Mahomes won on Black History Month, bro.
I ain't even think of that, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
Patrick Mahomes won on Black History Month.
PSP cooking with fish grease, boy. I'm telling you, like, straight up.
Listen. If you want to get some good cooking, go to New Orleans. They got some good fish grease, some red beans and rice, all that good food. Go to New Orleans.
Oh, I've been wanting to visit anyway. I'm definitely gonna have to hopefully one day take that trip.
I've been trying to tell Champ go to New Orleans.
That gumbo, boy. I'll tell you, man.
I've been wanting to go. But other than Lamar, Brock Purdy under the most pressure. You know why? Other than not just Jared Goff, but Brock Purdy. Because of what Cam Newton had to say. Remember when Cam Newton went on his 4th and 1 podcast and he said Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, Dak Prescott, game managers. Brock, this is on you. This is the opportunity for you to shine in this one because Kyle Shanahan, numerous NFC Championship appearances, a Super Bowl appearance, brilliant offensive mind. But Kyle Shanahan, you got to get it done. And if you don't get it done, my man, what's the narrative of you? Are you going to be the new Andy Reid, a brilliant offensive mind that can't win the big one, that has had issues with clock management? And with Brock Purdy, this is a great opportunity for you to prove people wrong. Because when I did the video about, hey, Cam Newton's right about game marriages, 49ers fans got on my TikTok. They kept bashing me and saying that Brock Purdy the numbers say he's an elite quarterback. Well, that wasn't the case against Baltimore and against other elite teams. So, Brock, if you want to make a statement game to show you're more than a game manager, that the 49ers made the right decision moving on from Trey Lance and putting it to you, this is it right here.
Hey. Piggyback on PSP. Piggybacking on PSP. The first black quarterback to ever win the league MVP, Steve McNair.
Rest his soul.
Hey, let's go back to the chat. Hey, stand for people being pissy because he refused to be our running back and wide receiver in the draft. They say he had a bad attitude because of that. Hey, and my boy, hey, shout out to Trey. He said the same thing. Before we go on, and I get your opinion, Louise, they told another Hall of Fame quarterback that he needed to switch, and he ended up going to the Canadian Football League. A guy by the name of Warren Moon. They told him to switch. So, I mean, hey, first black quarterback to win. First black quarterback to win the MVP, Steve McNair. First black quarterback to win the Super Bowl, Russell Wilson.
No, Doug Williams.
Well, Doug Williams, excuse me. Then Russell Wilson. My bad.
And then Patrick Mahomes.
And I'll add this point too. Hey, if you're a quarterback and you're in like a run and shoot or an air raid style offense and you want to watch a quarterback operate it to the highest level, go watch some Warren Moon tape.
Yes.
He was really, really good passer.
Mm-hmm. The only problem I had with the run and shoot offense because them running games was terrible. Just like the air raid. They were trash. They were terrible. Luis, who would the Super Bowl mean the most to at this point?
So I'm gonna split it up real quick. For a team, it would mean the most to Detroit. For a coach, it would mean the most to Kyle Shanahan. For the player, I would love to see Lamar. It ain't no secret. I'm not black. I'm a full-blooded Puerto Rican male. Both mom and dad, both Puerto Rican. But what I always do though is I always try to root for the minorities though. Because I feel like minorities, we gotta stick together. And I feel like Lamar, last word won't flat out say I will. The media has been incredibly disingenuous and racist towards Lamar. So I would love to see Lamar go in there, perfect passer rating, and smoke some ass in that Super Bowl if he does make it. But I remember growing up. I don't want to be political or anything, but I remember growing up and just hearing that the quarterback position was too much to learn, was too much for black people. That's what I heard growing up. And I want Lamar to win so bad so he can shut those narratives up because he's so amazing. And I know once Lamar wins, the entire media is going to crack. They're going to crack. They're going to cry because of who Lamar is. We all know why the media don't like Lamar. A lot of us won't flat out say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I didn't mean to say it on your platform, Champ.
Well, you good, bro.
But that's just what it is. And as a Puerto Rican man, as a minority, and I respect Lamar as a player, regardless of skin color, whatever. But we know what the deal is, and I hope that just motivates Lamar even more. Put an end to that stigmatism. Show that black quarterbacks are here to change the game forever, bro. Show that you the man of Baltimore. Show that you one of the best. That you gonna be one of the best players of all time. So I hope Lamar go in there. He dog walk whatever team in the Super Bowl. Even though I have the Chiefs winning, I hope Lamar tears some shit up.
Hey, I just want to say this, and keep your eyes on this. And remember, you heard it here first. Now, I want y'all to pay attention. They might still try to find a way to discredit the Super Bowl if he wins it. Because you know what they might say?
The defense.
Yes. And they might say, hey, you had all of these weapons. You had this great defense. That's what you're supposed to do.
But I wish they would say
I would love to hear them say weapons. I would love to hear that.
But at the same time, we got to hold those people accountable too, because if people are gonna go on the air and say this narrative, like I've said it before, man, with Mookie, there's no bigger critic of Lamar Jackson than him, other than other people in the media. If Lamar Jackson does it, and I hope he does it, what are they going to say? What is it going to be? If Lamar Jackson plays like we're accustomed to seeing him play, then what is it? Then what do they got to say? Because this is a guy who can't show up in the playoffs. This is a guy that his style is not conducive to winning a championship because he's not prototypical or drop back, or as that Monse Bolaño said, quarterback-y. At some point in time, if he does it and he delivers, you got to give credit where credit is due. And if you're not, then what does that say about you?
And have we seen a quarterback, like, aside from, well I'm not even going to say Mahomes because he came in blazing, but have we seen a quarterback, maybe aside from Josh Allen, who has developed and gotten better each and every single year? With Lamar, it's always with Lamar coming into the league, he's mainly a running quarterback, right? Doesn't have a strong arm. The man can fling it for 60 yards. The man has to work on his accuracy, has some of the best accuracy when his receivers can actually catch a ball. People have said, "Oh, Lamar runs crazy. He needs to learn how to run out of bounds. He needs to learn how to take a slide every once in a while." He's done that, and his running has been more effective than it's ever been. Is it safe to say that Lamar has gotten better each and every single season, and he has taken these criticisms, and he's just been way better each and every season?
I don't think people have given him enough credit for that.
Yeah,
like
I agree with that. I agree.
And then, like, for last year, like, he was injured too. He took his team to the playoffs, but he got hurt.
Yeah. And hey, I'm glad someone agrees with me. Everybody does that to everybody, no matter if it's Tom Brady or Dak Prescott. Well, they had this, they had that. That's why they won. Hey, I'm telling you right now, look for that narrative if he is to win the Super Bowl. Look for that narrative. I'm telling you.
The only thing I say about that comment, man, is like let's not be purposely ignorant. We know why they're saying the things they say about Lamar versus a Tom Brady, bro. We know why. Like let's call it what it is. Like Louis said, we know why. It is what it is. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, I mean, when you hear like the draft, like when some of the draft critics and everything, when they just come out and just flat out say, well, we don't feel he has the IQ to play the quarterback position. Man, quit beating around the bush. We know what you're trying to say. Don't even try to hide it.
This is why I love this upcoming draft, because the top quarterbacks are black. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Michael Penix. Like, oh man, the media gonna hate. Oh, they're gonna start.
They ain't gonna stand.
Hey, last year we had a couple of them. Last year we had a couple of black quarterbacks. Remember that?
They're not gonna like it. They're not gonna like it. And I hope, oh my God, I hope Jaden Daniels, he turns up too. Oh man, whatever team gets him.
Hey, remember last year, 6 black quarterbacks in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
That's
last year.
Yeah, you know that. Yeah,
I forgot about that.
6 black quarterbacks in the first round.
Bryce
CJ,
Young,
yes.
number
Let's see.
one.
CJ,
Oh yeah,
Young,
Bryce
CJ
Young,
Bright.
CJ
Yeah.
Stroud,
Six
Anthony
black
Richardson.
quarterbacks in the first
Anthony
round.
Yeah,
Richardson.
and
I
Richardson.
love A Rich.
15.
I love A Rich.
He coming for it all
AR-15 gonna be
next
a
year,
beast
boy.
next year. If he
He
That's a
stay
coming for it
healthy,
all next year,
bad
boy.
if he
man.
stay healthy, boy, Indianapolis got a baller, like
Really,
straight
6
up.
black quarterbacks? 6?
Yeah, 6 black quarterbacks in the first round.
So Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, AR,
I'm trying to think who else.
I'm really trying to
Hendon
think.
Hooker from Tennessee.
Hendon Hook. That was the
No, he
second
was
round, right?
second
No, he was
That's
second round.
My bad.
That's still pretty damn good though. He
Yeah.
probably would. He
Yeah.
probably would have won in the first if it wasn't for the ACL tear because he was having a really good season with Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, man, look for that narrative. Like I said, they're going to watch and see. Watch and see. We want to elaborate on it more, but watch that narrative because you're going to see it because we've seen it with every single team, seen it with every single quarterback. Well, he had this. That's what you're supposed to do. Now, who do y'all have in the AFC matchup? Starting with you,
AFC?
Yeah, AFC. Remember the AFC? It will be the Kansas City Chiefs versus Lamar and that stifling defense.
Champ, you came prepared with this nice little slideshow. Man. You came a little prepared, champ.
So starting with you, PSP, who you got in the AFC Championship, brother?
Listen, I know I'm light skinned and y'all may think I'm going with Mahomes, but damn it, I'm going with Lamar Jackson. I'm going with Lamar Jackson this one. This is nothing personal against Patrick Mahomes. This is nothing personal against Andy Reid. I have tremendous amount of respect for them. But I just want to see Lamar Jackson do it because this may be his only best chance to go that far. The Baltimore Ravens, they got the number one, they got the best defense in the NFL. They're 6th in passing defense. So Kansas City, is Willie Gay gonna play? Because remember, he had the neck injury. Is Mike Edwards going to play? Because he had the concussion. So we gotta see on that. How is Pacheco going to deal with Baltimore? Because Baltimore with Roquan Swift. Remember, champ, you kept talking about how that was an idiotic trade on the part of the Chicago Bears. Remember that?
And I still think it's an idiotic trade because you essentially look, if I could take over for a second, PSP.
Go ahead.
When that happened with Raekwon Smith, I was looking all over the news to see what he had did. Because usually when somebody trades you for something like that, for a second round pick, usually you done got in trouble with something. It's something huge that it came out. And I kept looking and I couldn't find anything because I'm like, he made all pro 2 years in a row. How do you get rid of him, Roquan Smith?
They didn't want to pay him.
Yeah, I mean, but the first thing
crazy, they going to overpay Tremaine Edmonds. Crazy.
Right.
Yeah, facts.
But that was crazy. I kept looking to see because, like I said, if you know the NFL like I do, usually when they get rid of a player for that low of a price, they did something.
But you didn't even get a ham sandwich. You didn't even get Oreo cookies.
You couldn't
You barely got a half a bag of chips.
Couldn't even get sour cream and onion chips.
That's why I kept looking to see if he had gotten in any trouble or was there any off the field issues because they got him
a drop off.
Yeah, because
but
they
you
got
know
him
what,
out of there
champ?
in a hiccup.
But you know what, champ? You know what this reminds me of? The D-Hop trade. Why?
Yeah. That's just. Wait a minute, man. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. That'll take up a whole 2 hours.
I know, but that's an idiotic thing. But I think Baltimore, all Lamar Jackson has to do, he doesn't have to play spectacular. I think as long as he plays well enough and as long as the defense does its part, I think they'll be fine. What Lamar just has to do, don't commit turnovers. Because if you do that, especially with a team with Mahomes at that quarterback, it's going to change the momentum. And the Chiefs are going to ultimately capitalize. Can Kansas City's wide receivers step up like they did against Buffalo? Are they going to do that again? Because if that's the case, then Kansas City has a good enough chance of winning. Kansas City, I don't care if Taylor Swift will be at that game. Travis Kelce is still going to give you every bit of Travis Kelce. Big Red, Andy Reid, He has not made the mistakes as he's made in the past with clock management. He's learned the error of his ways. John Harbaugh, remember, he comes from that Andy Reid coaching tree. So we're going to see if John Harbaugh is going to give Baltimore Ravens bulletin to board material on how Andy Reid is going to do things. But I think it's going to be a close one. I think Lamar will finally get it done. I got Baltimore 27-24.
Ooh. Luis.
Man, this gonna look
AFC
bad.
Championship.
This gonna look back, cause my pick gonna be like, damn, you said all that about Lamar minorities, and now you going way back. It's just
listen. For a light skin to go against a light skin, that has to say something.
For me, man, it's nothing against Lamar. I'm a big fan of Lamar, man. It's just for me, I'm never gonna bet against Patrick Mahomes until he gives me a reason to bet against him. That's just how I am. Lamar, I'm like I've been saying on Brandon's pod, like I said on Kenny's pod, I'm gonna say it on PSP's pod tomorrow. My heart says Baltimore. My brain, if I'm actually going to use it, and if I'm a betting man, I'm not going to bet against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. They haven't given me a reason to. That's just
last word.
I mean, like I said earlier, man. Look, it goes off what Luis said. I truly don't want to bet against Patrick Mahomes because of who he is and what he has been the past 6 years. Like, it's tough, but for me, man, this is the year for Lamar and the Ravens, though, man. Like I said, I want to see Lamar get to that level, and I want to see him set up a lot of people, basically. So in order to do that, he has to be able to get past this task. So I got the Ravens winning this one. I say a game 17-14. I think it's low scoring.
But this is one of the biggest AFC championships I would have never seen, bro. It's like I don't know why I feel pressure, and I'm not even playing, bro. Like it feels so suffocated.
Bigger than last year's.
It's just for me. It's just the magnitude of this game. Like last word said, like on Lamar's side, it's just much bigger than football. Like I don't know what it is, but just it's just for me personally, the more I talk about this AFC championship matchup, it's just the more pressure it feels. Like the more you realize how big like this game truly is. Because on one side it's bigger than football, and if it's bigger than football, and it's to cement Lamar, and then on the other hand, you got a dude who's creeping up to be the greatest quarterback of all time. Like it's like I feel pressure through the screen, and I'm not even playing. Like I don't know, it's corny to say, but that's how I feel. Like this game is really, really big.
Hey, let's not forget, man. People are not going to acknowledge this, but hey, man, Patrick Mahomes also a black quarterback. He's the first black quarterback they're probably going to have a dynasty, dude. So let's not discount him just because he's not the prototypical black quarterback. We're used to seeing running black quarterbacks. We're not used to seeing a black quarterback like a Patrick Mahomes. So let's give credit where credit is due.
Hold on, Chip. I'm not.
No, not y'all. I'm just talking about the viewers. You know.
Okay. Do you know how difficult it is for a light-skinned man to go against a light-skinned man?
But I don't know. I just feel. I don't know why. I just feel the pressure through the screen though. Like to me, this is probably one of the the more I talk about it, it's one of the bigger AFC championship games because both these guys, they have so much riding on this Super Bowl win. Like Lamar, like if Lamar wins, like it's gonna put a lot of questions aside for black quarterbacks because unfortunately, like people hate Lamar for how he looks. For Mahomes, on the other hand, if he wins this ring, this will probably be the hardest team, that's probably been ever led. Like you talk about a team that led the league in drops, no true number one, no true star pass catcher. It's like this is probably one of the toughest offenses to lead. So it's a very big game. The more you really talk about it and look at it and dissect it, it's a big game for different reasons.
Frank?
I will say from the standpoint of how big the game is, this is probably the biggest NFC championship game really since the two Chiefs Patriots ones because it's mainly the new beast on the block and Patrick, because that was the new beast of the block, Patrick Mahomes going against the GOAT Tom Brady, and is Patrick Mahomes going to take that torch from him into the new generation, new era quarterbacks? So this is like If Lamar wins this, he solidifies his legacy. And going back to that video I made about, okay, who's the Brady Manning of the day? If Lamar Jackson wins this, he legit has a claim for him and Patrick Mahomes to be that new great quarterback rivalry as far as just dominating the league and then playing each other and kind of like,
It's a new big dog on the block now.
Exactly. Like Mahomes got his 2 chips. He's got his 2 MVPs. He's got his 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Lamar, to me, out of the top tier quarterbacks, is the closest as far as like accolades because he's probably going to get his second MVP. And let's say he wins this championship and gets the Super Bowl MVP on top of it. So I mean, it's like the new beast on the block. But then if the Chiefs win this game, they're a dynasty. There's 3 championships in 4 years. They're a dynasty. They are the new dynasty of the NFL. So there's so much riding in this game. But to look at it from an analytic standpoint, I'm gonna say 24-21 Baltimore. I'm gonna pick Baltimore. I'm looking at it from the standpoint of I really feel like their defense is gonna come into this game. I really think their defense isn't really gonna play with a lot of pressure. I think they're gonna go out there and play and have fun and be able to execute their game plan. I mean, they love to rush. I mean, they can get it 4-man, they can blitz, they can do so many things with their blitzing. They have one of the better secondaries in the league. They're not going to be scared to go up against those wide receivers to be able to cover them, whether it's man to man, whether they're covering in zone. I don't think they're going to be scared to cover those receivers at all. And I really feel like they can take the running game away from the Chiefs to make Patrick Mahomes throw the ball, and all be that may be dangerous in a lot of cases. I think Baltimore really feels like on defense they have the manpower to really do something to them and shut them down. And I think with Baltimore's offense going against Kansas City, I feel like Lamar is in a different type of zone right now. And I feel like he's able to pick his spots better. He's able to lead better. And I got 24-21 Baltimore. I really feel like he's in a different type of zone right now. And I really feel like he's finally about to really get that shine and really do the thing on a true national stage against this generation's dude right now, which is Patrick Mahomes. And I think Lamar is going to step up to the challenge. I got 24-21 Baltimore.
So Frank, can I ask you a question, Frank?
Shoot, boss.
So going back to what you said, making the comparison with Brady and Manning, if Lamar wins this game, if the defense is as suffocating as a lot of people think it's going to be, do Kyle Hamilton and Roquan Smith put their stamp as this generation's, or at least for this team's new version of Ed Reed and Ray Lewis?
Bruh, that's a really good point. That is a really good point. And honestly, how do you argue that? Because I mean, Kyle Hamilton right now is already a top 3 safety, whether being free safety, strong safety. He's already a top 3 safety in football. Roquan Smith is arguably the best middle linebacker in football. And I mean, honestly, I can't argue that. That's a really good point. I think they really put a stamp on being that next middle linebacker safety duo in Baltimore to really take that torch from Ray and Ed Reed. So I can't argue that point. I like that point actually a lot.
Hey, Ray is gonna be at that game, and he's gonna be
going get the crowd hype.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. If Roquan Smith shows off in that game in front of Ray Lewis, boy, I'm telling you, he gonna have that stadium rocking. He go out and show out in front of Ray. Let me tell you, him. Yeah, I'm telling you, just I want to see that defense on that stage.
A list of quarterbacks that the Baltimore Ravens have beaten this season: C.J. Stroud, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Geno Smith, Matthew Stafford, Tua,
good,
and not to mention the San Francisco 49ers. They have beaten them all, and all of those quarterbacks, with the exception of Joe Burrow, made the Pro Bowl or All-Pro this year. They have beaten them by an average of 14 points.
Don't forget, champ. They beat 11 total teams with a 500 record and above, and out of those 11 games, 9 of them they won by 7+, bro.
They don't play.
Not to mention Lamar has a perfect. Not to mention Lamar got a perfect passer rating against us this year.
Hey,
that's the second time you done did that.
This is BS.
Hey, got a shout out to my George Jacket boy. We got to stop this. they're okay comparison, but they aren't Reed.
It's not. I think.
We're not
all right.
saying
So
they're
I
Ed
don't.
Reed and Ray
No,
Lewis.
they're not saying they Ed.
No,
and,
I'm not
and
saying
Ray.
that. I'm not saying that. So I feel like when I'm not saying Jackie's saying that, but I feel like people are too caught up on nostalgia because a big part of this defense and why it's so great is because of Roquan Smith and Kyle Hamilton. Like I'm not saying they're on the same level of Ray Lewis and
Two
Ed
Hall of
Reed.
Famers, nah.
Like that's crazy to say, but these two guys are the heart and soul of that Ravens defense, the same way Ed Reed and Ray Lewis were. It's not that crazy of a comparison.
And they play, they also play a similar style, like the hard nose, the tackling, the versatility. Their games translate to what they did on those Baltimore defenses. Yeah, Luis ain't necessarily saying they're Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. It's more of a passing the torch type of thing, putting their stamp on that franchise. That's why I was saying it's a good point, because they're the next great duo for that franchise. That's why I said it was a great point. The point made a lot of sense. We're not saying they're them, because they are not. Ray Lewis is the greatest middle linebacker in the history of the sport, and Ed Reed is arguably a top 5-7 safety period of all time. So we're not saying that, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I think
he was just saying about how he hates comparisons, and they're great in their own right. We don't need to bring up Ray and Reed.
It's sports. They're going to be comparisons no matter how you slice it, though.
Yeah, especially being the fact that they play for the Ravens. It's going to happen.
I think a good thing to bring up, too, is if you look at this Baltimore defense, they have put up historic numbers throughout the entire season. So if they win the Super Bowl, this could go down as one of the best defenses we've seen. And nobody's talking about it for some reason. But this team, that defense specifically, the entire year has been putting up historic numbers, like very legendary numbers. So if they win the Super Bowl, they'd be one of the best defenses we've seen.
Hey, but I'm going to tell you this before we move on to the next topic. Y'all know who the greatest defense of all time is, don't you?
Don't get nasty.
Who do you think it is?
Nasty.
The Grits Blitz from the Atlanta Falcons, 1972.
I love my boys to stop it.
No.
85 Bears.
No. Wait. They allow only
2000 Ravens defense.
I'm about to say 2000 Ravens.
Ravens.
Hey, that defense only allowed 9.2 points a game.
Hey man, all I'm gonna say is, man,
did you get the job done?
No.
Yeah, you ain't get the job done.
Hey man, I seen the no-fly zone literally carry Peyton Manning in a bad neck to the Super Bowl and win it. That's all I'm saying, boy.
I saw Legion
and
of
then
Boom.
There's the legend of Boom.
We saw Legion of Doom put the greatest passing offense in a box.
Hey, I saw that too. NFC Championship.
Greatest defense for me of all time, personally, is the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. I mean, I feel like their dominance from game one to the Super Bowl for me is just the only defense for me that comes close is probably the 85 Bears. As far as line to line dominance, the 2000 Ravens were just nasty.
I think the greatest defense of all time, personally, is Stephen Ross, being the owner of the Miami Dolphins. He's been a great job at defending, of holding us back from greatness. So,
all right.
Hey, nah, Chris Greer too. Nah, don't discredit Chris Greer. Chris Greer played
part too. Hey, listen, Luis.
Hey, listen, Luis. I'm sorry. I hate my team so much right now, bro. That playoff
somewhere down the line, Brian Flores is laughing right now because it was reported he wanted Herbert, not Tua.
His bald head.
Man, I spoke on that, man. I'm not giving him that.
Shout out to Jackie Boy Sports. Steel Curtain. We forgot about Steel Curtain. Good job, Jackie.
Oh my God, the
Luis brought up Steel Curtain.
Yeah, I brought up Steel Curtain. I said 85 Bears.
Oh my God, the Knicks almost beat the Nuggets by almost 40 points. My God.
Hey, I wish I could
since they got OJ and Anunoby, they've been playing a lot.
That defense has been good.
They've been playing a lot better.
Hey, so let's move on to the next topic: the NFC Championship. The Lions, the roar from the dome, Ford City. Hey, who y'all got?
I can go first.
Hey, shout out to my main man AJ. What's going on?
AJ, what's good, homie?
What's going on, AJ?
I like your hair.
Yeah. AJ, shout out to AJ, man. Go follow AJ on TikTok, bro.
I don't know what to say. I like your hair.
I like your cut, G.
Yes, sir.
But NFC Championship, who do you got, bro? Who you with? I'm gonna start with you, Frank.
Starting with me.
Yeah, you.
Well, I've said from the beginning of the playoffs, this was a Baltimore-San Francisco Super Bowl. I felt like that was going to be the matchup from the jump, and I'm sticking with it. I just feel like San Francisco is a more talented team on both sides of the ball. I don't think there's really too much as far as to analyzing it, although I will say this. San Francisco is going to have they're going to have hell on their hands with Aiden Hutchinson. He's already one of the premier pass rushers in the league. I love what he does, but I just feel like outside of that, I don't know. I just feel like Detroit secondary is going to be too weak. They're too weak for me for San Fran. I just think San Francisco is a more talented team on both sides of the ball. I got 31-21 San Fran.
Damn. Last word, not the first, but the last.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. The fairy tale ends here. The Lions, the Niners are about to beat the snot out of the Lions. I'm not gonna hold you. Listen. Let's just put these things in perspective, man. The last 4 games the Detroit Lions have played against teams, they have been absolutely roasted by some of these receivers. Mike Evans killed them for 140. He had some bad drops in that game. Puka Nacua killed him for 146. CeeDee Lamb killed him from 223. And Justin Jefferson had 192 yards against these guys. Listen, man, listen. Brandon Ayuk and if Debo play, which I think he is going to play, they both might go for 120 plus. It's a real possibility because I just don't see how in the world they're going to stop these dudes. And you're pairing that along with Christian McCaffrey, it's GG's, bro. They won in this game minimum by 14 points. So I'll say something like,
damn.
I'll say 31-17.
All right.
Diablo. What the okay. Damn.
Go ahead, Louise.
31-17. You think it's gonna be that bad, man?
Hey. Also, I don't know where this Jared Goff is a good quarterback narrative came from, but
come on, man.
he gonna reveal his true colors this game. We're gonna see.
Oh man. I'm going with San Francisco.
Hold on, last word. I'm sorry. Last word. Are you trying to act as if Jared Goff is Nathan Peterman all of a sudden?
No, he's not bad. No. Let me rephrase that. He's not a bad quarterback. He's top 15. But It's been legit discussion that I've seen on TikTok. People saying he's better than Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. I'm like, okay, listen, we need to stop.
No. Let's slow that down.
I don't know who the hell selling these cookies, but they need to stop.
Calm the truck down.
That ain't what we gonna do.
In the great words of my father, that dog don't hunt or bark up trees. Mm-hmm. So go ahead, Louise.
I got San Francisco winning this game. I just think they just have much better playoff experience under the bright lights and things like that. I don't know about 31-17. That's wild. But the way I envision this game, missed field goal gonna cost somebody. I think San Francisco they're just gonna do some little thing that's just gonna cost the Lions in the end. Unfortunately, I personally think the Lions are gonna have one of the worst heartbreaking losses we've seen. I'm talking about in a close game. I'm talking
that'd be terrible for that franchise.
I'm just saying, either missed field goal, Jared Goff getting safetied, or a punt return. Something.
If they lose on a missed field goal, I hope that kicker leave town, boy. I think
they're gonna lose on a nail biter, bro.
Boy.
Oh, if he missed a kick, if you want to in Detroit.
That's what I'm saying. I hope he leaves.
First play home.
Oh my goodness, boy.
Because they're gonna have to carry him out of town.
I think they're gonna lose on something so little that's gonna be hard.
Hey, on a softer note, do y'all know? Hey, shout out to PSP number 1. Hey, because he sent this in the chat. Hey, Bills Mafia, Kansas City Chiefs. They did donate $275,000 to the kicker that missed that field goal last week. So anything is possible, man. good always overcomes evil. We'll leave it at there. PSP, my main man from Jersey. Who you got?
I got Niners winning this one. I do think the game is going to be a lot closer than a lot of people expect. Here's why. Because the weakest element for the 49ers has been their secondary. How they're going to deal with Amon-Ra St. Brown. And Christian McCaffrey, I think Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL. And he's played like that all throughout the season. But let's not forget David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. I think they're going to have an opportunity for them to show out in this one. It all comes down to with Detroit. Dan Campbell, this is the farthest you've gotten. You've done an amazing job with this team, but you can't make boneheaded decisions. You can't go with crazy calls that's going to end up costing you the team. This, like I said with the 49ers, and shout out to Broad Sports, because he had to deal with a lot of criticism from 49ers fans. He said it himself. Man, imagine if Brock Purdy was actually playing in last year's game, the 49ers would have won. Okay, we're going to see how Brock Purdy is going to be. I don't think Brock Purdy is a horrible quarterback, but he is at best top 15, top 18, somewhere along those lines. That's about it with Brock Purdy. I think for this one, if you're 49ers, all you have to do is just continue with what you do best. Kyle Shanahan, do not do anything dumb, because you have a reputation of clock management issues. You have a reputation of taking your foot off the gas. This is going to be huge on your part, because numerous NFC Championship games, man, this is your third consecutive one. The clock's ticking. You got to deliver. And if you don't deliver a Super Bowl ring, you the Andy Reid. You Andy Reid before Andy Reid had Super Bowls. That's unfortunately the narrative that's going to be on you until you finally win one. So 49ers, they got to win. I'm going to go with this one 30-20. 30-20, San Fran.
All right.
Oh, boy.
It's my turn.
What you finna say, champ?
Shit.
Let me break something down to you. Are y'all aware that the Detroit Lions are only the second team in NFL history where 4 different players have 10 touchdowns?
No, I wasn't aware of that.
So, think about that. Now, also, the narrative is already being painted in the media about Deebo Samuels. Oh, the Niners are not the same team without Deebo Samuels. How many
They definitely are making excuses.
Do you need? You have Brandon Ayuk, you have George Kittle, and you have Christian McCaffrey. So they're already trying to get ready for an excuse just in case they get upset, which they will. Detroit is going to go into Candlestick and take it from them. If you really look at this team, they are really offensively, they are on an equal playing field. The only difference is one plays on the West Coast zone blocking scheme and the other one doesn't. Plus, who has the most playoff experience on this level? Who's been on this level before? Jared Goff.
Look at last word. He ain't like that.
And who do I trust more in a situation like this? Jared Goff, a guy who's been there before. I don't trust Brock Purdy. He's proven to us earlier in the season when he faced the Baltimore Ravens on the big stage. He'll ball up like an ant on you.
Christmas Day.
He will. So, and I don't like the narrative of, we would have won had Brock Purdy been there. Here's your chance to prove it. Which you won't. Detroit wins by a field goal because they will attack the middle of that field. Jahmyr Gibbs, look for a big game from Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery and Sam Laporta. Look for a big game from those 3 players. Those are the keys to victory for the Detroit Lions winning and taking the Motor City to the Super Bowl.
Sam Laporta is such a beast, bro. God.
Yes. and they will attack the middle of that field. So
Jameer Gibbs is a monster, boy.
Hey, they got a two-headed monster in that backfield. People talk about what they don't have a Christian McCaffrey. They got a guy for power and a guy for speed and power. People don't realize, man, Jameer Gibbs was running in the SEC last year. He personifies speed and power. So I'm taking the Detroit Lions for the upset. It will be Baltimore and the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. The Motor City and Chocolate City will be in the Super Bowl. So, with that being said, in the great words of the Monstars from Space Jam, time to play a little basketball. What are your thoughts about Doc Rivers hiring? I will take this one first. I do not know how he keep getting hired. I don't know. I mean, I understand that he won with the Boston Celtics. I understand that completely. But before that, he didn't do anything. And after that, he didn't do anything. And he's had plenty of chances to do it. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong, he had the Lakers up 2 years after he won that 3-2. He was up on the Lakers 3-2 and lost 2 straight.
I believe you're right on that.
He didn't do anything in Lob City. Granted, Kawhi and Paul George were injured. They was battling the injury bug, but he didn't do nothing with that team. And then when he got to Philadelphia with Joel Embiid, same story, different verse, same script, different cast. So to me personally, he's the modern day Lenny Wilkins at this point. Because remember, Lenny Wilkins had won that championship with the Supersonics back in '79, and teams kept hiring him in order to see if they can recapture that magic. They never did. I think the furthest he ever got after he won that championship in Seattle was he got to the conference championship one time. One time.
That's terrible.
After that, semifinals, first round, holla at you. So I don't understand why teams keep hiring Doc Rivers in hopes of it's going to change. And I understand what Jackie's saying. They needed a coach immediately. He was the best option in the building, but Doc is not that great of a coach. And that team is still riding that championship. Every last one of them, not just Doc. Paul Pierce and the rest of them still riding that 08 championship out. And I get it. It was the first championship in Boston since the Bird era. The very first. I get it. So you bought something back to a franchise that had not been there for 25 years. At the same time, you were not a dynasty. You are not a dynasty.
Can you believe in 4 years it'll be 20 years since that happened?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
But what did Adrian Griffin had to do in order to be fired?
They say he was having
Last word knows everything about that, actually. Last word, you on mute, bro.
But I definitely can't see why he keeps getting one.
I had made a video about that earlier, why Adrian Griffin got fired.
Yeah, I mean, they say he was butting heads with some of the people in the front office, with some of his head coaches and some of his players. And, when you're bumping heads with everybody, like I always say, everybody ain't lying. So, they got to get you out the building if you just clashing with everybody. But at the same time, you just signed him. You shouldn't have never gotten rid of Coach Budenholzer, if you really want me to be honest with you, especially after he bought you your first championship in years. So
I don't agree with that one, Chef. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, granted, you may not, but like I said, isn't it better than what they have now as far as with Doc?
I mean, it may be. Let me say this. Let me say this in regards to Griffin and Budenholzer. Mike Budenholzer quite literally had the worst basketball rotations I've ever seen in my life. It was horrible. The way he played Dante DiVincenzo and what's my other guy's name? I forgot his name. And Pat Connaughton. There we go. The way he played those two guys, despite the fact that they actually were halfway decent defenders and pretty good floor stretchers for them, when they needed floor spacing on the floor at times, was downright disgusting. And that Brooklyn Nets series where they beat the Nets, and I believe it was 7, if I'm not mistaken. When they beat the Nets, my biggest gripe with coaches in basketball is when it's not football. It's everything that happens in front of you is happening every single possession within a minute of spans of seconds of each other. So you glaringly see the problems. And the fact that he went that entire series and he just left PJ Tucker on the island against the one scorer that the Brooklyn Nets had that was healthy and Kevin Durant, to me, that screams, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. That to me, that's what that says to me. Now, and again, that's not me saying Doc Rivers is some, some savior that's gonna come. Because I'm on record saying Doc Rivers may be the most overrated coach of all time in any sport, not just basketball. But the fact that Adrian Griffin, and to speak on Adrian Griffin came in, he literally ran Terry Stotts out of the building. And they brought in Stotts to quite literally be with Dame. Because that's who one of the assistant coaches at the Blazers were, is Stotts. They literally, it was reports saying how they got into feuds and things of that nature. The man resigned a couple of days later after those reports. Now, I understand they went and got Dame. I understand you're going to take a step back on the defensive side because Drew Holiday's gone. But when you go from a top 5, 8 defense to bottom 10, that's a staggering issue and a problem. And that's not something that you could just say, oh, Drew Holiday gone, so that's why we went from a really good defense to one of the league's worst. No, that's not a good enough excuse. And a lot of defense is effort. I'll admit that. But the issue is the team effort, in my personal opinion, is a reflection of coaching. Like, if a team isn't fully bought into what they're doing, you're going to see it on the court. And we see that all the time across sports. We see that with football. We see it with basketball. We've seen it when let me use my Dolphins as an example. We've seen it with Adam Gase when he was with the Dolphins. The team quite literally quit on him. They didn't want to play for him. And you've seen that with Adrian Griffin, despite the 30-13 record he had as a coach. So, to me, in my opinion, Doc Rivers, don't get me wrong, he's by no means at all a savant or someone who's going to come in and deliver like how you think he should. But when you look at what they had to basically choose from and who they had, I mean, bro, it's a double-edged sword at that point, bro. Like, you don't have anything else. Like, you let go of Budenholzer because, like I said, to me, in my opinion, his rotation was horrible. Adrian Griffin, 3 months in, he's already at odds with the front office. That's not going to work. So what else you got? But, I mean, I don't know, man. The Bucks, even though they're a good team, I don't see this success being sustainable for the next 2 years. Not even that, probably. Because I think Giannis walks. I'm not going to lie. I think he walks.
Well, he already signed a new contract, so.
He got it out in 26. I mean, not 26, 25.
Oh, okay. Okay. Frank?
I understand. I guess I understand why Milwaukee did it because, like what last we were saying, like to be a consistently good defense and then to just have the fault, the bottom drop out the way they have this year playing defense. I mean, it is really inexcusable. But to go to Doc Rivers when you've seen time and time again, he's not the best. I don't know. Sometimes in like bigger situations, his rotations can be off, his game management can be off, his game planning, his play, like his, the just, I don't know, man. It's just, I just think they look at Doc as just like this. I mean, they're shooting for it. They're looking at it like they're shooting for it, but I feel like the East for me is Boston's to like lose. And the way the Knicks are playing right now, since they got OG Anunoby, they've been. I just saw that score with what they did to the Nuggets. I mean, good God, I just saw that score. To do that to the Nuggets, like my goodness, like so they coming on right now. I think this is more. This is a desperation move as far as I'm concerned. Just to get a name in there like that everyone knows, and Doc River has respect to the league. I get that, but I mean at the end of the day, it's just that I just hope this got to work, because if it don't work, it'll just feel like a big. I feel like it'll be a wasted season if it doesn't work. I mean, they have to they have to get to the NBA. They got to get to the NBA finals with this move, just straight up. But I don't think they're going to.
Luis?
Honestly, we know what Doc Rivers is at this point, bro. At this point, me being a Heat fan, I'm biased. Like unbiasedly, like we know what he is. Now, biasedly, I'm happy that he's the coach because Jimmy Butler gets to spank Milwaukee's ass even more. So I'm happy about that. But honestly, we know what Doc Rivers is. He's a dude that's benefited from really good teams, and when it's time to make in-game adjustments and to actually be a coach, he falls under pressure. He doesn't know how to stop anybody. He doesn't know how to make the proper adjustments. He doesn't know when to call timeouts. He doesn't know. He's not a good coach. He's not a good coach. He's one of the most overrated coaches in history. I agree with Frank that this was a desperation move to at least get somebody better than Adrian Griffin, but Milwaukee ultimately, I'm gonna say when they lose in the playoffs, it's going to be because of coaching, and it's going to fall on Doc Rivers.
Okay. PSP.
It's an upgrade, but it's not that much of an upgrade. It's not like you driving a Honda, you going from a Honda to a Mercedes or a BMW. It's not like you going from Spam and Vienna sausages to fish fillet or sirloin steak or anything like that. Look, Doc Rivers, I mean, deserving of the Hall of Fame, etc., etc. But you haven't been to the conference finals since that lockout season. You haven't won a championship since that 2007-2008 season. You haven't been to the finals since Kobe when he won his 5th championship. We have to hold Doc Rivers accountable more because the 3-3-1 leads he blew. Orlando twice with the Clippers. We're going to call Joel Embiid and James Harden for coming up short in the playoffs. That has to apply with Doc Rivers. Philadelphia, especially the first year, they should have made it to the conference finals. And I hope, and even though we look at Ben Simmons and how Ben Simmons played throughout that series, and he did not play well, but that's also on Doc Rivers. He is the one who said, if you think I'm going to take Ben Simmons out of this ball game, then you don't know basketball. This is the same Doc Rivers who has, he came up short in terms of the coaching adjustments, things of that nature. And I sent this on the group chat. The report from Sham Sharani of The Athletic. Doc Rivers is signing a contract through the 2026-2027 season worth in the range of $40 million to be the Milwaukee Bucks head coach.
That's one of the worst contracts I've ever.
So you let go of Adrian Griffin after 43 games, second best record in the Eastern Conference.
That's absurd.
17 games above 500. It's not going to do much anyway. I mean, Doc, yeah, he's going to help them maintain. They're going to stay steady in the regular season. But come postseason time, it's not going to be much. As far as with Giannis and Dame, I don't know. I don't think they're going to win a championship, especially if you're going to say Doc Rivers is going to be the head coach. Only team I see coming out the East, Boston. This may be the chance for Boston. And if Milwaukee, now with the Terry Rozier trade, which I love because I think at this point he's a better player than Kyle Lowry at this point.
Oh, easily.
And of course, we know what Jimmy Butler is going to do come postseason time. I actually think this is going to be another Boston, Miami, Eastern Conference Finals, unless some team in the East could say otherwise. Philly, we got to wait and see on Embiid come postseason time. We got to see other teams. The Knicks, could they actually compete? Because again, with Jalen Brunson, remember Becky Hammond saying that he's too small, his size, in terms of him being the number one option. Could that work out? We'll see. But it seems to me it's going to be Celtics Heat Eastern Conference Finals yet again.
I wanna go back. I wanna talk about something about Doc Rivers. This was 2 years ago, and and it was us versus the 76ers in the semifinals. The first two games, Joel Embiid didn't play because his face was broken or whatever. So we go up 2-0. Joel Embiid comes back. They win two straight. The next two games, the coaching I saw from Doc Rivers were absurd, and the excuses I heard was Doc Rivers is trying to protect Joel Embiid. The man just came back off an injury, and his impact on the defensive side of the ball led you guys to win two straight. What the hell do you mean you're subbing him out when he's hot because you want to protect him? It's playoff basketball. You literally have a chance to go up 3-2, possibly take the series 4-2, and you want to quote unquote protect Embiid because he broke his face. Yet when he just came back, you guys won two straight games. That makes no sense. Doc Rivers is going to end up doing the same thing with Giannis or Lillard. They're going to get hot, and then Doc Rivers is going to take him out because he's that much of a freaking idiot.
And I think that would be a bigger indictment on Doc Rivers, because if you couldn't win with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, what makes it you think you're going to win with Giannis and Dame? Now,
Crazy.
Giannis, consummate professional. Dame, is accepting his role here in Milwaukee. So, Doc, this is on you, bro. This is on you. And if you can't win this one, then I'm sorry.
He's had some good teams. Kawhi,
even before the Kawhi and PG, man, he had Blake
Lob
Griffin
City.
over there,
Yeah,
man.
he had Lob City.
Jamal Crawford on the bit.
Wasn't he the coach for Orlando as well?
Yeah, with Tracy McGrady over there.
He cost him Tim Duncan too.
I think it's kind of criminal. Doc Rivers didn't have more success with those Lob City teams, like straight up.
It's criminal with
let's not forget. We always talk about the 3-1 blown leads. Let's not forget
the 3-2 leads. He's blown
the 3-2 leads and the 2-0 leads. He leads the NBA in the history of the game in those blown series leads in the respective series, bro. It's like what I said to my Josh Allen point. Yeah, bro, look it up. I promise you. Listen, it's like what I said about Josh Allen, bro. At some point, listen, I get it. You got the ring. You're going to be a Hall of Fame coach. You had all this talent. You got all this respect, and you garner it, and it oozes from you. I understand. But it has to come a point where we say, okay, we need you to get this done. You've had too much talent, bro. Too much. At some point, bro, enough is enough, man. We got to stop making excuses for guys. We got to.
This is
I agree.
Absolutely crazy. So in the illustrious history, the NBA has seen 13 blown 3-1 leads. Doc Rivers has coached 3 of them. He's 6-10 in Game 7s. By far the most losses for a coach in NBA history.
And he's the reason the Atlanta Hawks have a recent Eastern Conference Finals appearance. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, because
sure is.
Oh, you talking about the Monte Carlo team? Yeah.
Shout out Nate McMillan.
Hey, I think we could all agree about Doc Rivers. Hey, if he gets it done this year, we might have to revisit this conversation. But for now, overrated. Now, let's get right into the nitty-gritty on one other topic. We all know that this weekend we got NBA. We all know this weekend we got the AFC Championship, but there's also the Royal Rumble. Hey, look, we all know about the injuries to Seth. Hey, hopefully he makes it to WrestleMania. But I want to hear from each and every last one of y'all. Which was the best Royal Rumble or Royal Rumble match that you saw? We'll start with you, PSP.
Y'all know me. Anyone who knows WWE knows I love WWE. My favorite my goat is Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'd probably say the 98 Royal Rumble, because I was en route to him facing the greatest in-ring performer as Ric Flair, Nature Boy Ric Flair said, Shawn Michaels, to WrestleMania 14. I just love Austin, the Attitude Era, but also Shawn Michaels too. Early on, especially with that Royal Rumble where he almost got eliminated, but still was able to come back. And then, of course, with Shawn Michaels, you remember this one, champ, 2004, that last man standing match between him and Triple H. That was a great one. So those are the couple of matches I remember from the Royal Rumble.
Frank.
The greatest ending of a Royal Rumble match for me is that 07 one with Undertaker and Shawn Michaels being the final two. Yes. But if I had to go, but if I had to go a match, that 2007 one to me has the greatest ending. They basically had a one-on-one match, the end of the Rumble. I mean, it was friggin' epic. But if I had to go just wire to wire, greatest one I've ever seen, I'm not gonna lie. Back to back for me, 2001, 2002, wire to wire, back to back, just and especially 2002 with Triple H coming back from that injury and then Stone Cold building his momentum up. Just watching them two go at it pretty much throughout that Rumble, and then just the other little, all the other stories that they were telling. I would say back to back for me it was 01, 02.
Oh, I'm an idiot. I forgot one Royal Rumble. Oh wait, John Cena's return.
John Cena's return was
bro. That was gonna be my pick, bro.
Damn. Be my pick. You got another one for us? Last word.
Man, I ain't gonna lie. Everybody said everything I was gonna say, but I just want to continue the John Cena one, man. A lot of people forget. So he came off. I think it was a torn pec. And when his music, his theme song came on, man, and the face of distraught that Triple H had was so crazy to me, bro. When he seen him into that ring, it was, I don't know, man. For me, that's the one for me because I was a huge John Cena fan coming up, so I gotta go with John Cena's return.
Luis.
Damn, this is hard. But for me, I'm gonna go a little bit new school on y'all, and I'm gonna say the 2018 Royal Rumble where Shinsuke Nakamura won the Royal Rumble. For me, why that was so crazy. One, the atmosphere in Philadelphia was insane, and two, in just in my lifetime, not speaking overall, the overall consensus of wrestling, in my lifetime, when it comes to WWE superstars, I have never seen an international superstar be the biggest superstar, most popular superstar in the world as much as Shinsuke Nakamura was. And for the building to erupt when Shinsuke Nakamura eliminated John Cena and Roman Reigns back to back, and then 2 minutes later to announce that he's going to challenge AJ Styles at WrestleMania, that was probably the best 10 minutes I've seen in a Rumble match. I don't think in 2018 there was a bigger person than Shinsuke Nakamura. Now, how they handle him afterwards, it sucked.
Crap.
It's crap. But that Royal Rumble match, his build-up, how big he was, and the way he won, probably the best I've seen. Probably the best I've seen for an international superstar.
And the piggyback off of that point of 2018, that image of the final six, like the old guard versus the new guard. You got John Cena, Randy Orton, and Rey Mysterio on one side. You got Roman Reigns, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Finn Balor on the other side. Oh my god! I kind of see Luis's point on that.
Not to mention Finn Balor had one of the greatest Iron Man performances for a Royal Rumble entry ever. He was in the Final Four, and like I said, honestly, I'm just speaking for me in my lifetime, I have never seen an international superstar as big in 2018 as Shinsuke Nakamura. Shinsuke Nakamura had a case to be the most popular wrestler in 2018, and when he won that Royal Rumble, I went ballistic. I went crazy because I'm still a big Nakamura guy, but him eliminating Cena and Roman, bro, him eliminating Cena and Roman back to back, one of the best back to back eliminations I've ever seen.
Hey, good ones. I'm gonna go old school since y'all took all the new school ones. Hey, 92, Ric Flair wins the Royal Rumble.
That was a great one.
And that was a good one. For the first time ever, not only because remember, You might remember this, Frank. Remember, he was the WCW NWA champion when he came over. So
yeah, I remember that.
For him to go into the Royal Rumble and win the Royal Rumble, and not only that, win the WWF title with Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig by his side. Hey, that was epic.
You can make an argument that was the most stacked
he cut
Rumble
afterwards
ever.
too was just epic.
Yes. With a tear in my eye. This is the greatest moment of my life. Hey, there's another match. I won't say the second person's name. Royal Rumble 2002, Kurt Angle versus CB.
Oh, man. Oh, man.
That was one of the greatest Royal Rumble matches we ever seen. Remember, we can't say
You're
his
not
name.
lying, boy. You're not lying. Boy.
Hey, let's go back to 2008 with Randy Orton versus Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
One of the greatest RKOs we've ever seen.
Yes. But arguably the greatest match I ever seen in the Royal Rumble for the WWE title was Kurt Angle versus CB. That was epic. And unfortunately, like I said, we can't say the second person's name due to controversy, but hey, can't take anything away from his wrestling abilities, But unfortunately, tragedy did strike. Hey, on that note, we had one hell of a show today. One hell of a lineup, star-studded cast, man. Hey, we're going to go around the room one by one. Tell the people where to find you. Frank, we'll start with you.
Well, my link tree is in the bio of my TikTok page, Big Shug 1122. You'll see me mostly post on the X, Twitter, the IG, and I have a Facebook BRS Sports page. That's where you're gonna find me the most at. So just look for Big Shug 1122. The link tree is in the bio. A topic not thought about is a topic not talked about.
As we always hear, you can catch them every Sunday on TikTok Live when we do our lives every Sunday. Hey, last word. Tell the people where to find you, brother.
First and foremost, Chad, thank you for having me on again, my man. It's always a pleasure. I mean, I'm glad I could make it to your first show, bro. I love your content, love what you do, man, for real. But for those who interested in seeing my content, man, my link tree is in my bio as well on TikTok, Last Word Productions. The same name, through Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Last Word Productions. Only difference is Last Word _ Productions on YouTube.
Hey, and if you
need by the way, I'm sorry, Trump. Be on the lookout. 2 weeks from now, Luis, I was gonna tell you too. I'm gonna start up my own pod. I'm gonna get back into it. I've been really busy, bro. I've been working 2 jobs now, but since I got a little bit more downtime, I'm gonna start up with my own pod again. But I'm also gonna have an episode each week specifically for the Dolphins. So Luis, we gonna have a lot to talk about when that come out.
Yeah. Love slandering my team.
And if you need a little help following these great stars on this podcast, it's in the ticker at the bottom of the screen. Louise, tell the people where to follow you.
Man, first and foremost, champ, I appreciate you. I'm honored to be on your first show. Like I said, you've been not only good for sports, but just in personal, you've been a great mentor to me. You've been a great friend. So not only love your content, love you as a person. So I appreciate you. I feel honored. Cartoon TikTok, you already know Lewis Knows Tunes, and like I said, on the show that on the beginning of the show, these 4 guys and the other people in our group chat, they've also motivated me to get more into sports, get on the sports side of TikTok. So the sports TikTok is Super Mighty Mouse Lou. I couldn't think of a better name, but yeah. Appreciate you for having me on, champ. YouTube, a lot more cartoon content coming on the YouTube for sure. Tier lists. Last word, when I do an anime tier list, love to have you on. PSP, love to have you on too. Get some different kind of opinions on there. But yeah, we're gonna go strong 2024. And wrestling matches coming soon because hopefully I can really wrestle this year. So
okay then. Hey, we need an invitation, or we at least need a tape for that, brother.
Oh, don't worry about that. I got you.
All right, and last but definitely not least, my brother from up north, Sports PSP. Tell the people where to follow you.
Go follow me, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, the Sports PSP Podcast, Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, also on Facebook, and also on X, formerly known as Twitter. We're going to do AFC, NFC Championships. divisional round, some start benches and cuts, some NFL, some music, some entertainment. So go check that out. Champ, thank you for having us on the pod, the very first episode on your pod, man. You've been doing some great content. Love your work. Love you, brother. Great things. Looking forward to in 2024 and the rest of all y'all. So
yes, indeed. Thank every last one of y'all for being on my very first show. Sports PSP. I'll see you tomorrow, brother. Hey, live. Don't forget about Sports PSP show tomorrow at 9 o'clock on the dot. Not 9:05, not 9:01. 9 on the dot. He has a hell of a show every single week. So go like and subscribe. Hey, on that note, shout out to Columbus, Georgia. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to everyone. Shout out to the Wolf Pack. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Y'all know who it is. And on that note, good night, Columbus.
Thanks.
All right,